Like we always do with this time, I go for mine, I get to shine. Now throw your hands up in the sky. Go for mine, I get to shine. Now throw your hands up in the sky.
Hello, everybody. Hello. Sorry for the technical difficulties. We had a major technical difficulty. I took my decaf iced tea with sweet and low, and I just accidentally knocked it on all the cables under the table. No big deal. How's everybody doing? I'm good. I have to say, I am great. I don't know if I've ever been happier in my life. Things are going so well. We had an epic This Week in Startups last week at TWiST Up. Thanks to the TWiST Up guys there for giving me the last spot when everybody had left to beat Friday traffic. We had Tyler, what? How many people were there, Tyler? About 6? I have a feeling our technical staff was more than the...
Yeah, it was a very energetic 6 people.
But these 6 people included Chamillionaire.
And on Dodge.
And Don Dodge. A lot of great people actually stayed for this show, which was great. And we do appreciate that, and it was a great show. Those guys, actually, TWiST Up puts on a good show. I give those guys a lot of credit in LA. On the program today, I'm very excited to have a great entrepreneur. You know his company, even though you may not know him. Have you ever seen the old T-Mobile ads with, who's the hot chick in the T-Mobile ads? Catherine Zeta-Jones. Yeah. Catherine Zeta-Jones, Zeta. You've probably seen these commercials where they're like, hey, I'm Catherine Zeta-Jones, boop, boop, boop. And then Bill Shrink, like, hey, save money with T-Mobile. I use T-Mobile. I love T-Mobile. Well, Bill Shrink's CEO and founder is Peter Pham, and he's here with us today, so please join me in welcoming Peter Pham to the program.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming. One of my favorite entrepreneurs. We met, I don't know, a couple years ago. You were sending me email after email about some dinner and something going on, and of course I don't respond, and I'm just like, it's just somebody inviting me to dinner. And so Tyler vetted it, I think, and he realized you're a sane person. And you did this incredibly cool dinner in LA.
Called Beta South.
And what is it exactly?
Actually, it turned out Mike Jones,
Mike Jones from
MySpace.
MySpace now, Savo before that, Userplane before that, who I've invited on the program, who, interestingly enough, it seems like MySpace PR they won't let him on the program.
Really?
Yeah,
oh.
That's basically what's happening. They're just panicked. They're panicked to do any press.
So was Mike when he was at Userplane.
That's true.
Keith Richmond.
But also Mike, I will be so gentle to you on the program.
He's such a great guy.
Mike and I are pals too. Anyway, Tyler, work it out. Anyway, so
Keith Richmond
from Break, who's awesome, who's been on the program.
And so the 3 of us together decided to get some entrepreneurs together in LA, have group dinners, 12 to 14 people every month.
Yep.
We called it Beta South. We've been doing them for 3 years.
Yep.
And we had one last night, actually.
Right, I know. Tyler, did you not get the invite to this dinner? What happened? What happened?
You didn't reply. I don't know what to do.
You're making me look bad.
Jesus. No, I understand. You rotate people in and out of the dinner.
We do.
And that's what happens, yes.
And it's entrepreneurs, CEOs, media execs, VCs, we do a party every year, which we did the second party last year here at Mahalo's office.
Oh, yeah, we did it here, right. That worked out pretty well. You had a lot of people.
300 people.
300 people.
At Yossi Vardi and his...
Yossi Vardi, who was here.
Israeli startups.
We have to get, programming note, Alex... Yossi Vardi on the program, Tyler?
He'll be here September 10th, 11th, actually.
September 10th and 11th. Can we get him on the program?
11th is a Friday.
It'll be right before TechCrunch 50 on September 14th and 15th.
Which you have to go for your startup.
Absolutely. You've been to both?
Of course.
Yeah. And what did you think of the program?
It's awesome. You have the people, which is the network, right?
Right.
And the crowd kind of cheering on the startups on stage, which is just a cool energy.
Yeah, it's a very cool energy. Okay, so have you seen this program before, actually? You have? Okay, and so
I saw Lauren's
episode from Savings.com,
of which we played poker together that night.
We played poker at the infamous poker game at the D conference, which we don't talk about.
Exactly.
But there was about $50,000 in play that night, of which I think Dave Goldberg took down 5,000 clams. Anyway, and the start of the program, we do something called Ask Jason.
Yeah.
So we have some callers for Ask Jason, I'm assuming, correct? Yeah. And then it's somebody who's in the chat room. Listen, they're asking if I'm single. Not only am I not single, I'm married. I have a kid coming on the way. Did you not watch? You didn't watch last week's program?
I didn't watch.
I made a huge announcement last week. Last week, we had Chris Tolles on from TWiST.com, which is a great site. It's in the top 200 or 300 sites on the internet. And he was there when I announced that we were expecting a girl. December 10th.
Congratulations.
That is why I'm so happy.
December 10th?
I have to say, I've never been happier in my life. I'm so excited to have a little baby girl. And no, I'm not single. I am not ready to mingle. I'm ready to be a daddy. So, no. And don't friend me. Like, I just this morning, are you having this, Tyler, with the porn stars adding you on Twitter?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm not the only one who gets an alert per day that has XXX in it that they're friending me. Can somebody do me a favor? Can
you set a filter?
Can I set a filter that anybody who has XXX in it, I think, because it's interestingly, they made their own hashtag, it seems. The porn stars automatically put XXX in their name.
Interesting.
So what they should do is, this is a suggestion, it's a free suggestion from me to Ev and Biz at Twitter. Anybody who is in the entertainment business that would be qualified as an adult, entertainment business, celebrity, personality, whatever, opt into having yourself filtered out with XXX in your name. And let's have an adult setting, which is you don't want to friend anybody or see any XXX tweets, because it's a little bit much. But then again, actually, I clicked through and they're talking about like going to Starbucks. I mean, if you're
They're normal people.
And then they're like TwitPic, you know, so you're like, oh, well, TwitPic from a porn star. You click it and it's like, yeah, this is literally a cup of Starbucks. I'm like, wow. So somebody teach the porn stars how to use Twitter. Anyway, that was an incredible diversion. We need to get Ask Jason done, so let's get a caller on the line. You can see over here. Oh, cool interstitial.
In fact, when I listened to this, I thought my phone was ringing.
Yes, okay, so it's time for Ask Jason, and our first caller is a woman named Lisa. Lisa, are you on the line?
One second.
Okay, here we go. The phone is ringing.
Nice.
And I just hit speakerphone here. Yes. Hello, Lisa.
Hi, Lisa.
Hi.
Okay, well, you're on This Week in Startups. Are you new to the program?
No, I've been watching since the beginning.
You're kidding. So
I'm not.
how many of the 10 episodes have you seen?
I have seen all 10.
Whoa! That means you've watched 20 hours of This Week in Startups because every show is averaging an hour and 45 minutes. Did you have a favorite guest?
A favorite guest?
Or two. I mean, who amongst your favorites?
I really liked, let's see. I don't know. They were all really good.
Come on. Oh, come on.
Lauren.
You like Lauren from Savings. All right.
He's a cool
there you
guy.
go.
I thought he had some really interesting stuff going on with that company.
Yeah, they're doing very well. I mean, they had a big announcement this week that I joined the board.
Congratulations.
And yes, I was on the board. Full disclosure, before he was on the program.
Poker? Before poker?
Yes.
Really?
Well, see, this is the thing. This is why people ask me to be on the board, because they know I have access. So he asked me to be on the board. Then we get to the Wall Street Journal D conference,
And you get to
and he's like, "Hey, can I get into the poker game?" And I was like, "Of course." And then the VCs who are on his board were like, "Can we get into the poker game?" I'm like, "Okay, fine." Then I got the people from this next board who want to be on the board. The poker game is...
It was big.
I think out of all the assets I have right now, and, you know, in sort of to do favors, forget about introducing people to Cuban or Michael Moritz or Elon Musk. Forget it. I get you to the poker game. So anyway, thanks for being a fan of the show and supporting it. You have a question for us. Let's hear it.
I do. My question is, if you're launching a new product on the web, how do you get good or effective press around your product launch, such as TechCrunch or Engadget reviews, if you don't have the money to hire a PR firm and you're new to the biz, so you don't have connections to bloggers or the media?
This is a great question. How do you get yourself covered? And I've talked about this in my email newsletter. I am not a big fan of PR companies. I'm on the board of some companies that hire PR companies. I believe that the thing you need to do to get press is to be amazing, duh, and be everywhere, duh. So what you have to ask yourself is to honestly look at your product and say, if I was a journalist or a blogger, how would I view this? So do have a little empathy. Put yourself in the shoes of the blogger, in the shoes of the writer, and look at TechMeme and the stories of the day and say, how do you compare to those stories? Okay, so if the news day happened to be the day when Yahoo gets, sells their search, or Twitter's down, and all this other stuff, you're competing with some other good stories. Where do you stand on that so that you can get a realistic idea of how you're going to do? Now, you don't want to start engaging bloggers and the press at the moment that you have something to ask of them, right? That's like saying, hey, I'm going to become friends with this guy, Peter Pham. He's cool, he's connected. And the first email Peter gets from me is, hey, can you buy me lunch? Or, hey, can you introduce me to this person? It's like the first thing is I'm asking him for a favor. Bad move. So what you want to do is 2-3 months before you have your launch, you want to go target 5 sites, maybe 10 sites. Read the sites every day. Look at the bylines. Then you're going to want to sub-target the 1 or 2 people who are on your space. So if it was me and I was doing search, I would look for Wikia failed search and Jimmy Wales on those blogs and see if people covered that disaster of a project. And then I would see if they did Search Me, which also I think is going out of business, or any of the other Hakia, any new search engine that is out there. Who's covering it? Who's done the most stories about search engines and maybe human-powered search? Who's done Cha-Cha? Who's done stories on, what else, Tyler, is a human-powered search engine that's out there that's doing stuff? Aardvark. Once you target all of those people, then you look at their posts and you make an incredibly insightful comment, and you put your name at the bottom, and the link goes to your blog about your company. You don't put, I'm from this company, here's what I do. This is kung fu, like this is deep level stuff. You do not want to seem like you're promoting. You want to only comment if you have something wildly intelligent to say. Embedded in there is an insight that you liked about that journalist or blogger. So, great story on the failure of Wikia. I agree with your points A, B, and C. That's the suck up, right? And then afterwards, I also think that a founder who's traveling around the world and not in the office is probably a contributing factor to why Wikia search failed. I mean, there's a lot of comments you can put about that failure. So anyway, you're contributing intelligent stuff to the conversation. This goes back to the Clue Train Manifesto. Have you read the Clue Train Manifesto?
No, I haven't.
Okay, so you're gonna Google that after the show. You're gonna find that. You're gonna read it. Okay, all markets are conversations. You need to join the conversation in a legitimate way. You're also going to start a blog. You take the comment that you put on TechCrunch, that you put on Alt Search Engines, that you put on Mashable, that you put on Read Write Web, whatever the people, all things D, and you write that. You take that comment and you make it into a longer blog post saying, Kara Swisher said something really intelligent today about the failure of Wikia search. Here's what I agree with. And I also read something over here by Eric Schoenfeld at TechCrunch about Jimmy Wales failing. And all that stuff will then build up to you joining the conversation in a credible way. And they, of course, read the comments. Journalists and bloggers obsess over the comments. And if they see something intelligent, they click on the person and say, who is that person? You get a Twitter account going, you do the same thing in the Twitter accounts. When you have something that you're going to put a comment on, you say, wow, great post by Eric Schoenfeld. You do a search for Eric Schoenfeld Twitter, you find his Twitter account, you follow him. So now you're interacting with these people and becoming a human being with interesting things to say and who listens. Now, you don't need a PR company, because guess what? PR companies, this is what they do. Except when they do it, it's a real pain in the ass to journalists and bloggers. When I was a journalist, we had a no PR rule. There was like maybe 2 PR people I would tolerate and talk to because I was like friends with them, but gosh, I hated them. They wasted so much of my time. I hated all PR people equally. And it wasn't personal, it's just that PR people are friction. And what you want to do is develop a direct relationship between the CEO and the journalist blogger. And that's what all journalists and bloggers want. So, for example, with Savings.com, when they were doing their launch, their 2.0 launch, which you may have read about, I'm on the board, I talked to the PR company, which is a great company, and they said, hey, can you introduce us to A, B, and C? And I said, no. I can introduce Lauren, the CEO of Savings, to A, B, and C, and no, I will not CC the PR firm, and no, you will not contact them. Because these top-level bloggers, they hate PR people. They hate them. And they hate wasting their time, because the thing that they have that's precious is time. So all you have to do is become a credible voice, and the rest will follow if you make a product that's good. Making a product that's good, well, that's a whole other conversation for another Ask Jason. But Peter, what are your thoughts on this?
On point. The product is everything, right? I think today, in particular, with Twitter, Facebook, the moment you launch, if it's good, it's going to have its own momentum and pickup. But those building of real relationships with people, in the genuine relationships that build over time, is really what you're looking for. My favorite book, and this applies not just for this, but in business and how to win friends and influence other people. Right? Dale Carnegie. You have to genuinely be interested in other people. You have to be likable. People have to like you, and they're going to listen. And don't always be the person asking for something. And I'm sure there's something insightful in giving, or connections and networks or stories that you that you can participate with, be the person who participates before be the person that's asking, and build the relationship.
This is great advice. And in addition to this sort of kung fu you're hearing about, if you have some piece of information, right? So if you're in the space and you know about search, let's say I knew that Jimmy Wales was going to fail a month before he actually crashed and burned. That's a piece of currency now. You've got this great piece of information that Jimmy's going to fail, and you can then give that to somebody. So if you have some insider information, you can say to a Mike Arrington, to a Henry Blodgett at Silicon Valley Insider, to a Kara Swisher, you email them, you do a direct message to them, however you get to them, and say, hey, by the way, not for attribution, but I heard that Wikia search is being shut down because it's a terrible failure of a product. And then you've given them something. Now you've got currency for them. I'm not saying I would ever use currency. I have information to help people, but I'm good friends with a lot of people who are bloggers and journalists, so you can do the math. Help other people, they will inherently help you.
The other is obsess about your market. So whatever space that you're in, RSS feed. So I actually use Flock as my RSS reader, and I read several hundred articles in different spaces a day. Whether it be scanning or reading it, and just know everything about your space. So when you're talking about it, there's connections and analogies of your product with others, and make it easier. As Jason pointed out, everybody who writes about your space, when you pitch them, they're going to understand what you do, rather than TechCrunch. Find the author that has written stuff about your space.
And then the person who does all the PR work, if you would call it PR work, I call it relationship management, for me, is Tyler, who is the Director of Corporate Development and Strategy here. Tyler, you have any insights into this question?
I have an insight.
So Tyler actually has an insight.
Insights from Tyler.
Oh, nice.
Cause Tyler is smarter than you. When I say you, I really mean me. That's why we need insights from Tyler.
Insights from Tyler. Insights from Tyler. I love that picture. That's actually a fan sent in a jingle for Insights from Tyler.
Yeah.
Now,
really? That's impressive.
What do you guys think about the Insights from Tyler theme song? People love it.
The picture's
Dating
better.
says that song is classic. Wow, I want my own theme music. Great jingle. I'm going to make that my ringtone. And I think it's such a great insight. Can we play it one more time?
And show the picture.
Show the picture. Let's nice and loud. Let's hear this one more time.
Insights from Tyler. Cause Tyler is smarter than you. When I say you, I really mean me. That's why we need insights from Tyler.
Oh, it's so genius. Now, Tyler, you have an insight, and also you have a backstory on that picture of us on the Sydney Bay Bridge.
That was you?
That's me next to Tyler on the Sydney Bay Bridge.
I was like, who the hell is that?
Tyler and I go all over the world together, doing these speaking gigs and blogger and journalist stuff, speaking of PR. And that's a picture of us. We climbed the Bay Bridge, and
That's
wow.
the Sydney Opera House,
How is
right?
that
And
you?
that's the Sydney Opera House. That's me on the left. And
That does not look like you.
it looks like
No way that looks like you.
It is me.
Are
It's a-
people saying it looks like you?
I
No
don't
way.
know, but I don't want
I
to.
think that would be.
It just it looks like
Me
your
and
brother.
Tyler, we climbed it does. We are
It's like-
brothers in a way. It is pretty funny. And yes,
Okay, what's the insight?
people are here. Oh, they're special friends. That rumor's been around for a long time. We do travel the world together. And that was a fun time on the Tyler Bridge. You had an insight about PR. Let's hear your insight from Tyler.
Yeah, you have to be. People get annoyed. The PR people get annoyed very easily, and shorter is better. So a lot of times when I'm reaching out to people, I will literally and casual. I think a lot of people. Here's the insight: is most of these people when they reach out to bloggers or press, they try and give them a big freaking press release, and that just gets thrown in the trash immediately. No one's gonna read that, and the tone is usually they make the mistake of taking this tone that's very professional.
Right.
I find
Boring.
Yeah.
Yes.
And for the people that I don't have friendships with, PR wise, I find that the more casual the tone,
Right.
the better, and the shorter. I mean, literally 5 words.
Right.
and very casual tone, because they'll think, maybe I know this guy, I don't want to piss
So
him off.
we recently launched.
Why is this person coming off so
right.
casual?
All right, so we
I
really.
must have met this person. I don't want to piss him off, so I'll reply.
Oh, that's very
I
interesting.
like
So
that.
we did Mahalo answers. We got a ton of press for that. I mean, we must have had 30 or 40 pickups.
Right.
And what would the email be to somebody that you would send? What is the one-line email for that?
As short as possible. Have something cool. You should totally check this out. Let me know when you have a minute. That's it.
Yeah.
Huh?
So
But
cool.
it's like, hey Rob, or if it's Rob Hopp, if it's just who we know very well. But if I didn't know Rob, I would say, instead of hello, Mr. Hoff,
Right.
thinking I don't know this guy.
Right.
Delete.
Right.
Anybody who
Right.
formally.
Hey, hey Rob.
Hey, Rob.
Yeah.
I like my PR firm though.
Right.
Yeah. Mahalo's launching something.
You guys don't have a
Yeah.
PR firm, really?
No PR firm. I've never. This is interesting. I have never had a PR firm or PR person in my entire career. Not one.
You were.
And I get more PR than anybody has deserved. In fact, I've had 5 times as much PR as I deserve. Literally.
How do you measure what you deserved?
I measure all of my press by the inch and pound. I don't read it. I just look at how's the picture, and what does the headline say? How many inches is it? Does it weigh? What's the weight? And then I throw it in a box. I haven't looked at my press ever. I never look backwards, always forward. But anyway, there is your 15-minute answer to your very simple question. Lisa, thank you for calling in. Question for you. Where are you going to be September 14th and 15th?
Ooh, I was planning on being in San Francisco, actually.
How convenient.
You are going to be in San Francisco at that time? Interestingly enough, we are having the TechCrunch 50 conference. It's extraordinarily elite conference with incredible people, as you've heard. Peter Pham is going to be there. He's been to 2 of them, 2 out of 2, 3 out of 3 this year. And instead of you paying like $2,500, would you like to come and be my guest at TechCrunch 50?
Love to.
Really? Lisa, I look forward to seeing you, Lisa, at TechCrunch 50. Alex, take care of Lisa. Great question.
Nice.
And thank you for tweeting about the show and telling people about it. It really helps each person you tell about the show. You're helping more entrepreneurs. So let's take our next caller. We have another caller? All right, Michael. So this is incredible. If we go at the rate of 15 minutes per call, the show is going to end at about 6 p.m. All right, here we go. You're good till 6, right? Peter's with it. All right, we have another caller. This is Michael. Michael, wait a second. I remember this name. Michael, do we know each other?
Yeah, I actually got a chance to call in a few episodes ago to ask Jason a question.
I remember this. So now, going backwards in time, I think this might have been like the 2nd or 3rd episode. Who was the guest on that episode when you called in? Do you remember?
Yeah, it was actually episode 7 with Don Dodge.
7 with Don Dodge, yes.
Mr. Microsoft.
And so what was your question at the time? What was your problem?
I called in to get some advice on what to do with a bum partner. I started a joint venture with a friend of mine, and over time, it seemed that he just lost interest in the project, and I was kind of stalled by his lack of interaction with me, and all I wanted to do was to be able to finish our product and kind of get done with it.
You got to cut and run.
Yes. And so what was the advice that we gave you?
Your advice actually worked for me on 2 fronts.
Really?
I'm happy about that. So first of all, you guys suggested I kind of take emotion out of it and just find a way to talk to the guy as just friends. And so I kind of invited him to hang out and made sure not to bring up the business at all night. And by the time I kind of broached the subject, nobody was immediately defensive about it, and we were able to just kind of talk it out and talk about what the problems were and how we could finish going forward, because we were really close to just being done with it. So, so that worked out great, to find a way to take emotion out of it.
Awesome. And so you guys came to a new equity agreement or something like that, since he wasn't going to be less involved?
Actually, yeah, that was the second thing. So he kind of acknowledged that there was an imbalance between our equity stakes and the realities of how much effort was put into the project from both sides, and volunteered to take a lower equity stake to kind of help bring that more in line with reality. And so it didn't even cost me anything in the end, and I got kind of a more fair equity stake out of it.
Nice. Fantastic. Well, it's great, Michael, to know that some of the donkey advice we give out here actually works. This is a great moment in the history of the show. It's our first follow-up.
Yeah.
So that is awesome. Michael, I would ask you where you're going to be September 14th and 15th, but I already know you're coming, right?
I would love to if I could.
Yes. Okay. So that's 2 for TechCrunch 50 on September 14th and 15th.
I still can't believe that one guy, Fashion Week, gave it up for
Yeah.
Lauren's show. Come on.
Oh, right.
I know, that was pretty funny. Yeah, that was one of the great ones. So, would you like to come to Tech? No, no, not so interested. No,
I'm calling about a startup show.
Yeah,
Trying to be a
I have a
startup,
startup, but Tech Ranch, no, I can't make it. It was like he was.
Odd.
No, it was Fashion Week, and he had to be dedicated.
Oh,
to
that is true.
So, anyway, thank you for calling in. Congratulations on getting it going, and I can't wait to see the product when it's launched. And keep watching TWiST and keep tweeting about it. Thanks a lot. We'll talk to you soon, Mike.
Thank you.
Okay, cheers, bye. All right, so we did a very good job there. Now is the part in the program where I thank the people who make the program possible. And so everybody knows that what your job is to do right now. Your job is to thank the sponsors on Twitter. This is our integrated sales package. This has now become actually.
I love it. That's
when
good.
we
It's a
sell.
great idea.
Well, yeah, and I do it on This Week in Tech too. And This Week in Tech is killing it because they have such a huge audience. 250,000 people listen to that show. I was just on it last week. And so we thank the sponsor. I thank them. And the audience, you guys should thank them too because the program is great. We have great guests come on, and we pay the guests an incredibly large fee for coming on. We give each one a laptop. Well, actually, that was just the first 10, right? We're not doing that anymore. 11 show we stopped. But we were giving everybody. No, just kidding. But the show does have costs. I mean, we're in a studio here. You can't see the entire studio, but these microphones, the cameras, the lights, everything, the tricorder, TriCaster, whatever they were, the Star Trek thing out there that's doing it. And of course, we've had 3 amazing sponsors since the beginning.
Wow.
And these guys committed for 20 shows. Awesome.
Sight unseen.
Well, 2 of them were sight unseen. 1 of them came like after the first show. Anyway, WebSpy. Everybody loves WebSpy. WebSpy helps you get a handle on what everybody's doing at your office. Make sure people aren't doing things like going to the porno tube sites and whatnot. And also, you can give feedback directly to your employees. Like, hey, even if you don't want to look at it,
right,
they can get a report back that shows their gesture information. Like, you're spending 8 hours on Facebook a day. You're spending 3 hours on Perez Hilton a day, and you spent 30 minutes on grillshrink.com. Okay. And people should get this feedback, and the software works great. And WebSpy, I think these guys are out of Australia, and they're going to be coming on the show at some point. Do we have them set up, Alex?
We're waiting to confirm the final day.
All right, so they'll be coming probably in October. The show has been, I think the show is booked out of the next 8 weeks, do we have 4 or 5 of them booked out?
5 or 6.
5 or 6. So it's incredible now. The show is getting a lot of heat. People are emailing to get on the show. And really great to get some of the founders of these companies like WebSpy on the short program. So thank @WebSpy. Their Twitter handle is @WebSpy. DNA Mail. Everybody loves DNA Mail. If you're starting a company, you have no interest in hiring a huge IT staff. Peter, do you have like 6 guys in IT, like managing Exchange servers and burning your money?
No.
Okay, so you don't like to burn the investors' money on and waste it. You outsource things that are not critical, right?
You absolutely should outsource.
So you absolutely should outsource. And if you're going to outsource your email, you want to outsource it to DNA Mail. These guys are the experts. Everybody uses them. Everybody loves them. They'll do Microsoft Exchange. They'll do Google Apps. They give you a great deal. It's super cheap. Why wouldn't you use DNA Mail? You don't want to have people coming to you in the middle of the day saying, our Exchange server's down, I got to upgrade it, I got to get a new server, there's not enough memory, the hard disk is filled. You shouldn't be screwing around with that stuff. DNA Mail makes it possible for you to not screw around with that stuff. So everybody thank @DNA Mail.
And they do Google Apps. No, almost nobody does that.
Exactly. So
actually
you may need some support. Yeah. You don't want to do it. It's so cheap. Why wouldn't you do it that way? This is the ultimate of, for startup companies. I outsource our HR. We outsource our accounting. We outsource our legal. Why wouldn't you outsource your IT? You buy a bunch of Apple computers, and then you just use one of these outsource providers. It's a piece of cake. And of course, Ustream, Ustream.tv. Ustream is on fire. They're doing fantastic. They are a great company. A lot of people are now streaming with it. As you can see, professional people like Fox is streaming their shows on there. And boy, is the streaming space exploding.
I'm proud to be an advisor to Ustream.
You're an advisor to Ustream. I love the Ustream. You're on the board of advisors. Great company, and they are at Ustream. And so thank you. The CEO is on the show. What's the CEO's name?
John Pham.
What's his name?
Brad and John are coming.
John. Oh wow. John and Brad.
John and Brad are coming on the program, and that's going to be just fascinating and awesome.
Guys.
And so thanks to those guys. And next week we're going to have a 4th sponsor. I know it's crazy to have 4 sponsors, but the way I'm looking at it is let's go right up to 4. Let's give these guys a lot of value for the program, and then we can continue to invest in the program. Better guests, better equipment, better audio. just better everything. I mean, now we've got jingles. I mean, we need to get jingles for everything now. And
Are you going to get a jingle?
Well, we have asked Jason. That's just a cellophone. Somebody could make that into a jingle, I guess. The news could be a jingle. Deadpool could be a jingle, and homework could be a jingle. So if you want to make a jingle, put it on here. We'll thank you in the show notes, whatever. Who's the guy who did the jingle? Do we know?
Give me 1 second, I'll pull it.
Yeah, well, no, just get it to me. We'll thank him for the Ask Tyler jingle during the news segment.
That's a good jingle.
So Peter, you founded Bill Shrink.
CEO, not founder, actually.
Oh, there's a founder, and you came in as CEO.
There's 2 co-founders,
Okay.
and I came in as CEO.
So you're CEO of this company,
Right.
And when you started this company, I said to myself, Bill Shrink. Wait a second. I know this concept from Web 1.0. Matt Coffin, who we both know, who's on the board of Mahalo, did Lower My Bills.
And it happens to be on our board.
And he's on your board. And his original idea for Lower My Bills was send in your bills, tell your provider to send it to this address. We will scan your bills in, send them to you in a PDF form, and then we will negotiate on your behalf to get lower bills. He started that. It didn't work so great. For whatever reason, he moved on to doing lead generation. Mortgages, whatever. Sold the company for a half bill, something to that effect, to Experian. Now you get him to invest in your company and pick up the torch to do the same idea?
So I joined as CEO a little over a year ago, and I thought to myself, there's been a company who's done it before in the Web 1.0 space, and the godfather of lead gen is definitely Matt Coffin down in LA.
Yeah.
And I needed to bring in an outside board member.
Right.
And naturally, I'd met him before. He's an investor in Doc Stock as well, which I'm an advisor to Jason Azar.
TechCrunch 40 company.
Right. And so, him and I hit it off. He's just such an insightful guy.
He's a killer entrepreneur.
Just talk about great advice for me, first-time CEO.
Sure.
And he knows the space. He knows everything there is to know about making money and lead generation. So we brought him on as our outside board member.
Perfect.
And he's been amazing.
So now, what does Bill Shrink do?
So very simple. We help save money on everyday bills. And today it's cell phone bills, your credit card bills, and even your gas bill.
So a service like this obviously has no place in a recession and a financial crisis. So people don't want to lower their bills. Who has time for this?
Like Lauren and Savings.com, right?
Right, exactly. You guys are the counter-cyclicals.
Right.
So
we do with it's a decision engine on just trying to figure out what you should do. So we personalize the recommendation. Think Kayak, Faircast.
Right. So I'm here logged in. Let's pull it up on the screen here so people can visualize it who are here. And so I'm logged in under this account, and it says here are your top recommendations for a credit card from JetBlue, gasoline, and a wireless plan.
Yeah.
Now, how do you give me these offers?
It goes back to one of our co-founders, Schwark Satyavalu. He was the co-founder and CTO of a company called Yodely.
Yodely, I've heard of this,
Been around for 8.5, 9 years. They power about 100 online banks, Bank of America, online bill pay. They took a big round there.
Right.
They power Mints and Wasabis of the world. That ability for you to log in and pull all your credit card data, your spending patterns.
They call this space data normalization, is that correct?
Data normalization, exactly.
Okay.
I'm impressed.
Yes, I've heard about it because Mint was a TechCrunch 40 company as well. And
so
Mint
they license Yodely in the back end, and that's how they have access to all the major banks.
So this means you get my authentication information from my bank, from whatever, and you can get the data.
So that's what Yodely did.
That's what Yodely did.
Yes, and so data normalization, right? Data aggregation, so go get all the information on the web, normalize it because everybody has different products.
Somebody may call the monthly cost. Other people might call it annual cost, and you have to divide it by 12.
Exactly. Okay. And things like in cell phones, 450 minutes versus $640 versus $45, and night and weekend starting at 9 versus 8 versus 7, and so on and so forth.
Right.
And so step one, we build these data agents that go crawl the web for all the pieces of information.
Right.
Every cell phone plan, coverage maps. For credit cards, it's every credit card out in the market. For gas, it's all the gas stations. And the system's built so either we go build and scrape this information or we get data feeds. And then we normalize this data inside this big kind of database. And then we built this recommendation engine, essentially this decision engine that says, Jason, based on who you call, when you call, how much texting, how much data, what would that usage cost on every possible plan combination in the market?
Right.
And on cell phones, there's 10 million plan combinations.
Wow.
Just 4 carriers. 20 plans, 20 add-ons, 5 lines.
Got it.
And so the system is, you come to our site, you answer a few simple questions on how you use that particular product or service,
Right.
how you use your cell phone.
So that's like a decision tree or something?
Yes. And then from that, we match it up against what's available in the market and show you the best results. And for our cell phones, we can go one step further, which is if you have online access to your cell phone bill, you can just log into your cell phone carrier account, and we'll suck that 40-page bill in. We'll strip that bill, look at what call volume is across which networks, what time of day, day of the week, and even look at mobile to mobile, night and weekends, and do all this crazy calculations at the back end. Simply said, you come to the site, save like $1,500 a year.
Huh.
Cell phones is about $300 a year. Credit cards about $1,000 a year. Gas, $150 to $200 a year.
So explain to me how on earth T-Mobile decides to promote your company. Because this is what people say about you.
Yeah.
They're like, this guy, Peter Pham, is the deal maker of deal makers. He's the ultimate deal maker. And I'm like, okay. He did get me to come to the dinner. He sold me on that. He's like, I know you're a good networker, but people say that you're the deal maker of deal makers. How do you get T-Mobile to do this? Did you pay for that?
No, we did not pay for it.
So T-Mobile is saying, go to Bill Shrink, and Catherine Zeta-Jones is saying, go to Bill Shrink.
It premiered at American Idol finale, actually.
You didn't pay for any of this. So basically you got Catherine Zeta-Jones, pretty hot as a spokesperson. You get T-Mobile, which has got commercials everywhere, to promote your brand. How on earth did you do this?
So, the brand alignment.
Right.
They are really focused on putting customers first.
Right.
And if you look at any one of these spaces, in the cell phone market, in the bank market, right, not a lot of consumers love the carriers. I'm sure I've seen your rants on AT&T.
is a disaster. I mean,
but in general, I think that for them to kind of step away from the fray and say, we really care about the customers and we're so confident about our product.
Right.
We want you to go to Bill Shrink and find out for yourself. Same thing Progressive Insurance did this years ago for themselves.
Right.
And this is taking it one step further than that. Rather than Progressive Insurance for themselves and showing their competitors, it's go to an independent site, an unbiased site, the Bill Shrink, and find out for yourself. And so, they don't always come out number one.
right.
But when they do, you know why, right? We have a very comprehensive explanation.
So
the grass isn't greener on the other side.
You basically went to them and said, you guys are coming up 80% of the time it's the best deal, 60% of the time it's the best deal, and we should be aligned because you're the best deal, or they came to you? How did it happen?
So there's no specific percentage
Right.
that they come up all the time.
Right.
It really depends on your usage. If, you're on AT&T, you're still
I'm on both. I have AT&T on my iPhone and my BlackBerry is T-Mobile.
So we'll look at your calling pattern. If you're still in contract with AT&T,
Right.
it's a $175 cancellation fee.
Ouch.
Right. There's a $36 activation fee pretty much across all 4 carriers. Then it depends on who you call. If all your calls on Verizon, you might probably recommend a Verizon plan for you.
Got it.
So it's very personalized recommendations. But we did come to them, and together we said, look, you do have a phenomenal product.
Right.
Our site actually looks at coverage maps as well, which is
Right.
the only site that does that. So it's not just always about price, but it's also about coverage. And we've built a very good product that people really like. And you have a good product. Instead of you shouting at the top of your lungs that you have a good product, put your money where your mouth is, right?
It's pretty brilliant.
It's bold, and it works. Customers love it, and even if they don't become T-Mobile users, they appreciate the fact that they're watching.
That's
out for
some
them.
really good marketing kung fu. It's like, we are so confident.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And so how big is the company? How much money have you raised to date? What's the revs like? I mean, what's the footprint of this company?
So Shork was an EIR, entrepreneur in residence, at Bessemer Venture Partners.
Bessemer's great.
Bessemer's awesome, and David Cowan incubated us there.
Okay.
And
He's pretty famous.
he's a big time VC for sure.
What was his big head? Did he have some?
He's had a lot.
Yeah.
But his recent investments that everyone would probably know is like LinkedIn.
Yeah.
But
LinkedIn's great.
he's has a illustrious career, and you
Yeah.
should check out the website bvp.com. But he was an EIR there. Spent about a year building the technology, kind of this engine in the back. Brought on Samir Qatari, who is his co-founder and our VP of product.
Right.
And then I joined, let's say, March of last year.
Right.
And we went and raised $8 million on top of that.
That was a first round or a B round?
Technically a B, because
Right.
we were incubated with $1 million.
So
And so we raised an additional $8 million at the end of last
a
year.
baby B.
Baby
A
B.
plus, B minus, whatever.
With Gus Ty,
Cool.
general partner at Trinity,
Trinity's
who
great.
we know very well, I know very well, as he's not only my mentor,
Right.
but he was on our board at PhotoBucket.
Right. And you were a business guy at Photobucket.
Yeah, I was VP of Business Development
Right.
at Photobucket. I was the 5th employee there. I was in charge of user acquisition.
That's where you sharpened your teeth.
It is for kind of like the online consumer space. I remember asking for this job, by the way. A buddy of mine, he was VP of Engineering, Michael Clark, brilliant engineer. 4th employee there, calls me up one day and he says, "You got to come work for
Yeah, this is going to be
Photobucket.
big.
This is going to be big. This photo like Photobucket." I'm like, what the hell is Photobucket? I use Kodak, O-Photo. Remember that back
Yeah,
then?
sure. Kodak or Photo.
And
Terrible.
did my research. All of a sudden, we're
Pre-Flickr days? Flickr just starting.
Flickr just started. Web Shots was kind of big.
Yeah.
Back then.
Sure.
And we started digging into the analytics, and all of a sudden, all these links to MySpace and blogs. And blogs.
Right.
Blogger actually was really big.
Right.
It was like 05.
Because they didn't do image hosting.
Right. Nobody. MySpace had a limit of 6 images.
Right.
6 photos.
Yeah, because at that point, everybody was scared to death of the cost.
Oh, huge costs and huge infrastructure costs.
Yeah.
And so everyone started using Photobucket, and I joined a couple 100,000 users. And I
Right.
said, I could build a user base out of this and build what we call channel partners. I'm big into partnering for growth, as you can see
Yeah.
with T-Mobile, right? Partnering for growth. And we went from zero.
Partnering for growth.
Yeah, I find that build a great product that has its own virality.
Right.
But if you leverage really big partners and other people where it's a win-win situation, right?
Right.
You provide something, they provide something, but typically they're bigger and they have more users. We went from 0 to 60 million users in 2 years, sold to Fox Interactive for
Yes.
300 million.
300 million. So basically, MySpace bought their biggest partner or feeder.
One of the biggest partners, yeah, for sure.
Slide, I guess, was the other big one.
It was us, Slide, Rock You, but for photos, we own the space and just
Right.
sharing photos.
So you were there and you watched this all happen.
Yeah.
You realized, I'm a big contributor to this. F this, I'm going to be CEO next time. Is that what basically went through your mind? Be honest.
We got acquired. I moved to LA,
Right.
and which is where Mike and Keith and I started
Yeah.
Beta South. And 9 months into it, I'd met Schwark and Samir, a year before that, and just stayed in touch. And it was just time. But
Time to be CEO.
time to be CEO.
So how many years into your career are you before you say, you know what, enough with the VP title, I want to be the CEO, I want to drive it?
So I've been biz dev roles for 5 years maybe.
5 years.
And then before that, mostly sales roles. So sales
Right.
and business development. So 7, 8, 9 years.
So
And
basically you put in almost a decade of just grinding it out,
Yeah.
sales and biz dev.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
biz dev is really still sales.
it is still.
It's
always
higher level sales.
It is.
This
And
is a very important lesson for people. Because people come into startup companies. I always tell them, you got to do one of two things. Make the product or sell the product.
product, yeah.
If you make the product, you got a good shot at getting the CEO slot or the president slot or a top slot.
Right.
And if you sell the product, that's another great way to get to the top slot. Because those two things are the truth.
Right.
If you make the product, that's the truth. You get to see the users either love it, hate it, or be indifferent.
Right.
If you sell, you get to see the customers love it, hate it, or be indifferent. And you have to get through those hurdles.
And I had a great opportunity. Alex Welch was one of the co-founders of Photobucket. Him and I became very close. Kind of became his right-hand guy and did everything with him. And in fact, worked with him on the sale and the acquisition of the company. So that learning experience from, early startup to hyper growth to exit in,
Right.
the mania of 2006 now.
Yeah.
2007.
2006?
2007 actually.
Yeah.
God, our 2-year anniversary just kicked in.
I like that 2005, 2006 vintage.
It was a good.
good to meet
That
you.
was a good vintage.
Good
So,
times.
yeah, that's how it went.
Awesome. And so, being the CEO, sitting in the big chair, how's it different than being the VP? You got any empathy for your former boss?
I do.
Tell us.
I focus on culture a lot, or try to, and I do all the business stuff. My company is 15 people,
Right.
almost all engineers.
Right.
I don't have a biz dev person yet. I'm doing it all.
Yeah.
I do want to hire somebody right now. I am looking for that position, but it's stepping away from not every day I'm doing deals, right? All ABC, always be closing.
Always be close.
Always be closing.
Glenn Ross.
And the focus, though, is making sure I'm communicating with the team, making sure everyone has vision, everyone's motivated, excited, the passion's kind of driven through. We're celebrating successes.
Okay, so everybody talks about that culture and passion.
It's hard.
How do
It's
you
harder
actually
to-
make
yes.
it happen?
It's easy to read, easy to talk about.
Okay, everybody's got to have passion. Everybody's got to be motivated. How do you do that when it's, I don't know, the fourth quarter of last year, the first quarter of this past year, and everybody is basically you know, crapping in the bed because they think the world's over. They see all their friends getting their jobs cut. They see these reports that we're going into a depression. They see 10%, 12% unemployment in our industry, and people are freaked out.
Yeah.
How do you keep people motivated and passionate when Rome is burning?
So we're in an enviable position. I wake up and I say, God, I'm so lucky. Right? We are doing really well. Right? We are building a product that is really for a recession and out of recession. And our momentum's up and to the right, right? We've grown, you know, January, I would say we kind of came out of beta. You're looking at 30, 40,000 uniques in January and 500,000 uniques last month. I mean, just consistent with the T-Mobile thing obviously kind of put us on the map in terms of just brand. And now we're working on a tremendous amount of partnerships. The product's finally getting its legs and traction. Everything's, you know, aligned with what we thought would happen. And I think it's, you know, we're lucky as a startup. I think there's a lot of skill, there's a lot of that.
So you positioned yourself to weather the storm.
Yeah, absolutely. We raised a good amount of money.
When the market was hot.
Yes, when the market was hot. And, you know, I focused on the fact that I don't want people to worry that we're going to run out of money. Right? I think that's
so
really
you're
important.
open, Kimona, about that. You tell them how many months we have left.
Oh,
you tell them the revenues.
Yes.
You're open about that stuff with all 15 employees, and they pay you back with that transparency by not leaking the information or telling their spouses or whatever.
I do, you know, we have a lot of deals in the pipeline, and I do remind our employees that, hey, we're all under NDAs as employees, and I have NDAs with very big companies.
Right.
And if you breach, the company breaches, and that's that's bad for
And that means basically two people get sued. You get sued individually by that company, we sue you, and then we get sued, and it's bad. So don't be stupid.
So it's, and this is trust.
And this has happened. I mean, in the industry, people have gotten caught leaking information. Is a, you know, very bad thing to do. And also, you're aligned with stock options. So if you do something stupid like that, the person you're hurting most is yourself.
Yeah. So you know, I'm still working on it. I don't know if I have the right answer. I try to make it fun in the office. I try to make sure that, you know, it's an open door policy. Everyone's willing to talk to me. I go on walks with individual employees.
A little walk and talk?
I do. I love it, actually.
I love the walk and talk.
Our office is on the water in Redwood City.
Nice.
And we do Monday picnics out on the water.
Nice.
You know,
for lunch.
For lunch. We bring lunch in every day, and it's great kind of team bonding.
We bring lunch in every day.
And it's not, if you think about morale budget, that's what kind of we bucketed in the P&L.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
morale budget.
It's company morale.
I like that. Can we do that here at Mahal? Let's get a morale budget going. Yeah. Okay.
So yes, that's where we're at. We're growing. We're crushing it on all fronts on products, and we're doing great on revenue.
And you're keeping the company at the right size.
Yeah.
Because when you get past 15 people, when you get past 30 people, it becomes very hard to keep that kind of spirit.
Yes.
It's when you have to start really having people thinking just about these issues of culture. And you have to have a cultural officer or something.
Yeah, and like I said, I don't have it right, but I
you know it's important.
I know it's important. I'm trying. The Netflix thing was pretty cool. Did you see the Netflix internal document, 128-page thing?
What?
Let's go to SlideShare, Google, or SlideShare, search for Netflix. Actually, should be #1 result. Netflix document, or just Netflix. And there's a 128-page internal kind of company culture document that they have, and it's something I totally aspire to. 128 pages. A lot of it's just simple pictures. Most of it's very simple pictures. As a startup, as any company, and they're a public company, and they run it like a startup internally, and it's really amazing. So
I like that.
I have great self-recognition of my flaws. I try to work on it. I'm not to say that I can fix
them
all the way,
my belief is the best CEOs are the ones who excel in certain areas, which means because you excel in a certain space, you can't excel in others.
Right.
So, for example, if you are extremely passionate, you're going to create an environment that has a lot of energy and is charged.
Right.
So you can't be like the Zen peaceful office where people are doing yoga if you're the high energy guy. Likewise, if you are an obsessive compulsive about product, like say Steve Jobs is, then that means you can't be a mellow dude, and you're going to be insane, and you're going to frustrate people because you're going to kick something back to them 5 times. But you know what? He justifies it and says, if I kick back the iPhone 5 times and I bust your guys' chops about it, you know what? Then people don't return the phone at the store. So you pick. So I mean, and I think
I'm still finding my stride.
I think leadership and the best leaders, people realize that they're flawed. I think that that's a big part of being a good leader is knowing these are the places where you are flawed. These are the places where you need to, watch yourself because you're not perfect. What's the area you would say, if I asked your employees, what's the worst part of working for you? What's the area that you could most improve? What would they say?
Right now, Ooh, that's a tough one.
I mean, it's a very tough question,
yeah, it's a
Tyler.
tough
You thinking
question.
about the answer to this?
I would say right now, and I think I've improved over the last.
Might be that shirt.
Yeah.
Oh, ouch!
That's not. I would play the insights from Tyler, but that wasn't an insight. That was a jib. Now we need a second one. Jibs from Tyler.
Right now, I think I'm improving on it, which is my.
Because I basically have half your employees, by the way, in the Ustream, and the Ustream guys. I'm sorry, the Billstream guys in Ustream. You tell us what the worst part about working for Peter is, and here we're going to do a little intervention. Go ahead.
I'm working on it, and I think it's communication. I'm working
Really?
on it. But I've started telling everyone what we're doing and what I'm up to, and it's just time, right?
Right.
We're working the ridiculous 20 hours a day. I'm traveling on the road all the time, and I forget that. God, I need to get back in the office and just tell everyone what's going on, and I am working on it. But I think that's it.
Sometimes you don't communicate enough.
Yes.
And so
I'm trying to over-communicate now.
Right.
And we'll see. I'm sure, maybe I'll go too far, and it'll be this pendulum.
Here's an idea for you.
Yeah.
This is what I do.
Please.
On the communication front. I have an email, blank at Mahalo, that goes to everybody.
Okay.
Once every week or two, I will put 10 random thoughts about what's going on in the company, 5 random thoughts about the company. And on a daily basis, I send quick links to them. Here's our stats versus this.
Oh, I like that.
Here's some product idea I have. Here's something that somebody did in the company. And do all 35 Mahalo people respond every time? No. Sometimes they get no responses.
Right.
But at least I know that they read that.
Sure.
And nobody can ever say, I didn't know.
Right.
You know? And I sit in the pit, right in the middle of the whole company. I have a little cubicle in the back I don't use anymore because I saw Tony from Zappos sitting out with his guys. And I'm like, Tony's got $1 billion business. He sits next to everybody. And I moved from my cube out to where everybody is. And I said, this is so much better. I sit next to the editorial director, Lon, who does the news here, and I got the product guy over here, and I got the Mark, the CTO over here, and it's just so much nicer to have everybody in the same room. And Tony Heish, I don't know if is it Heish that's my president?
Shay.
Tony Shay.
Love it.
Tony Shay at Zappos is like, I think he's the best culture guy in the business.
He's a good guy.
And that's what he does.
Yeah.
So anyway.
Yeah, we don't do cubes. I don't know
cube.
why companies do cubes. Why do companies do cubes?
I think it's to depress people.
It's so depressing.
I think it's to make it like a cell. Like you're in prison, and we're going to make it extremely clear to you that you're in prison by putting 4 walls around you.
Although I have to think maybe there's some people who like their space, and so there's that balance, right? Not everybody likes everything open.
Long family-style tables. Like when I go to a restaurant, I love that when they have the long table,
long communal table,
table thing, and this very Ian Schrager, it's very funky and nice. I like that, and that's how I have it set up here. Just a big long table.
Yeah, I love that.
And I'm gonna, if we ever get another round of funding or something like that, I'm gonna make like a really fancy table with leather and where everybody can just sort of sit with no divide between them. So the way we're sitting here with our laptops or whatever, I love this. I like communicating with people and have energy.
Have you seen Rubicon Project's office?
Yes, they have that same
I love
thing.
that. So in
Very
fact,
open.
he's got his video on YouTube, which is his office tour, and I was watching it yesterday because we're thinking about just rearranging the offices and just trying to fit more people. And I like the way he set up his desks. Right, there's kind of 3 pointing at each other, and pods of 3, everyone looking at each other.
I like that.
It's pretty cool. We have 4s, kind of back to backs, but then you have these giant monitors blocking each other. So.
I know, that's how they with the giant monitors. I don't know how to stop that. Maybe we should all have our monitors like this, and they cut into the thing and type like this. But I don't know if I would like that.
Yeah, bad posture.
Bad posture. It's got to be like that.
I need 3 monitors.
All right. So if you have a question for Peter Pham, you can ask it on TWiST. And Tyler, what do you think? What's the worst part about working for me? You can be honest.
How much time we got?
Oh, Tyler's got the gym today.
Well, certainly not the shirt.
Certainly not the shirt. I got the nice
You
press
don't like the shirt? Come on.
Yeah, if you were, I mean,
Come on, this is.
Jason actually dresses fairly well.
He's wearing a white
decent
shirt.
taste in music.
Yes,
Great taste in food.
that's true. We like the food.
Stop kissing his ass. What
No. He's building. That's why he's.
Oh, right. Oh, sorry. Sorry.
He's not. Yeah, it's going to be brutal. What is it? I have a guess as to what if I was working for me. I would have a guess about the worst thing for me.
Write it down right here.
I'm going to write it down.
Write down right
worst
here.
part about working for Jason.
Write it down and you say, I want to see if you
is that he is. Okay.
All right, go ahead. He's
How many words did you put?
I put 1 word. And actually, maybe we should have, if there are people watching from Mahalo right now who work here, who sometimes the guys from Mahalo listen to the show, they should put in Ustream what the worst part about working for me is.
Come on, this is killing me.
And I don't. This is amnesty. This is official amnesty.
Ooh.
I'm giving
Is
amnesty.
it real?
to say
Is it real amnesty?
Total real. I'm guaranteeing amnesty right now.
I don't need it.
He doesn't need the amnesties. You're
I
Tyler Crowley. You're my best friend.
I saw the picture.
You saw the picture. Tyler Crowley. You're my best friend. What movie is that from? Is that Driving Miss Daisy? All right,
come on.
So here we go. Somebody in the company here says I'm a narcissist. No, that's somebody who doesn't work in the company. Oh, is it from Forrest Gump? You're my best friend.
Come on.
All right, here we go.
You're thinking too.
Interesting, but I wasn't thinking that. But
You're thinking too much.
no,
Is there anybody
somewhere,
who's-
but there's a very high level of expectation. So I think the word he may have wrote was something along demanding. Although it's not demanding because he instills it in the person, but there's a high level of
Expectations.
Expectation, yeah.
Interesting. So you say high level expectation.
That's his negative? That he has too
Can
high
somebody
of
get
expectation?
Mark Jeffrey, who's worked with me for a long time, in here? Maybe let's get Lon in here because we're going to do the news anyway. This will be good. I want to
Wait,
hear.
what about? Here's what it is. The hardest part is it's always on.
Yeah.
Never rests, and it's always something
yeah.
to do. Like
Right.
always.
I do that. I do that too, which is I always expect everyone to be on as high level
All right,
as
so
I
he says
am all the time.
relentless. All right. So get Mark Jeffrey in here.
We can't. We're looking for Mark.
Okay.
What-
Find Mark and another.
Mark is in. Mark is actual job. Mark is working.
Where is he?
He's in a meeting.
With who? Tell him to come in for a second. I need him for 10 seconds. Okay, Lon, get in here. We'll do the news with Lon.
Hey, Lon.
Lon's here. Yeah, it would be good if you had the news, Lon. And thanks for wearing a blazer. All right. So what did you say? Tyler said
Relentless.
relentless. Okay. And so I
That's-
got it. Always on relentless. Okay. Because I wrote down what it would be for me. I don't see. Is anybody else?
See,
I
but
guess
that's
no one's
kind of
watching the
not.
show.
That isn't real answer.
It's sort of a compliment.
It's a compliment cop out.
Right. So how would you say it as a negative?
Yes, that's not a negative.
High expectations, high expectations. I understand. But how would you say it as like?
He
this
shouldn't
is
be-
in the worst moment I have.
Yes.
How would you describe
'Cause
it?
he'd be
Like
a
he's
sh-
saying failure to communicate, which would be he's withholding information or he's hard to read. Right? That would be the negative way to
It's
say
not
it.
that. It's not. It's that I.
People don't know where they stand.
Yes.
Don't know what's going on.
Yeah. No. Not. I think everyone knows what's going on. I don't think I need to tell people that they're doing a great job more.
Right.
Right. And I know that.
So
and
you're
I
not positive enough with the people. They don't know how they stand sometimes.
They're all awesome.
Oh, I know
That's the thing. They're
what it is.
amazing
I
people.
know what you think your weakest one is, and this would have been the right answer. Is you feel like you can be insensitive.
Interesting.
You're an
But that's not
insensitive.
necessarily. I don't agree.
So are
with
you
that, Mark
saying
Jeffrey.
he's an insensitive bastard?
No, he thinks he is.
I don't
just-
think he's.
All right. We'll have Lance here.
Insensitive.
You're an insensitive bastard as
I
well.
know. Okay. Wait. No, he said insensitive.
believe it.
Okay, it's Mark. Mark Jeffrey.
I may have editorialized. I may have editorialized the bastard.
All right,
part.
so Mark Jeffrey is your first employee. There's Mark Jeffrey on the Tyler camp. All right, so we're asking a question. I asked Peter if his employees could describe the worst thing about working for him, what would they say?
Right.
He said that he doesn't communicate enough and people don't know where they stand. I asked Tyler what the worst thing about working for me is. He's official amnesty, so nothing you say will be held against you. For
the rest of the day.
For the rest of the program. And then, so Tyler went, you didn't hear it, so I don't want you to hear his thing. Now you go. Lon started here, he was, just for background, was the maybe fifth person, third person at the company. Mark was the first. Tyler was maybe the 7th or 8th or something? Sixth
Tyler's
maybe. So these guys have been with me since the beginning. They've seen a lot of events, let's leave it at that. But Lon, worst part about working for Jason Calacanis is?
I think you're so, and this is going to sound like praise.
Don't make it a compliment.
Yeah, come on.
But no, it leads somewhere negative.
If you were Anon,
You're so passionate about the company,
Right.
and you have so many ideas, and that sounds good. But oftentimes there's a lot of snap decision making, and it's hard to follow you. Like
Right.
Yeah, okay.
you're working on one thing, and then you come up with this great idea that, oh my God, this is a great idea. You won't believe it. And everybody has just kind of got to turn 90 degrees and just get into the new groove.
Right.
And I know I struggle with that, and a lot of other people who have worked here over the years who are a little bit more like into the planning, pre-planning, strategy.
So I come in, turn the table over, everybody's working on something, chess pieces everywhere.
Change
Right, and
Yeah.
everybody just has to kind of scramble and like, okay, we're going this
Fire
way now.
drills. It's like a fire drill.
A little bit, and it can
Right.
cause a little bit of pressure,
Right.
a little bit of tension.
is that bad? Because I do that too.
like that's what I'm saying. Like I don't know if it's like
I don't throw the tables.
It's not a like.
but
I don't know if
But I do walk in and I say, I think this is.
I haven't thrown a table, but I have yelled at people to a level that
I don't yell.
Once or twice I've yelled.
You yell at employees, really?
I've yelled once or
In
twice.
front of
Not
other
at a-
people?
Well, yes. I mean, we have an open office. But it's only because something, and it's usually not directed at the person, it's directed at the situation,
Sure.
but even still, it doesn't matter. And I shouldn't do it. But sometimes I tilt. You can count it on one hand in my entire career, but I have tilted. So if you look at that, what is the end result of it? Is it like 1 out of 4 times it's worth the fire drill, 50% of the time it is? Should I do 25% less of it?
Well, I think part of it is personality driven, and that's just your sort of method.
Right.
And it would be almost impossible to ask you to really change.
Right.
But I mean, I think a lot of the time we're shifting to something that is genuinely a better idea.
Right.
And you're just impatient to get it going because you know this is a better idea.
Right.
So I'm not sure what the sort of solution would be.
Right.
But I do think sort of easing people into transitions and giving them a little bit of breathing time to sort of like, okay, let me get my new bearings. Let me figure out how I want to
So a little
approach
patience,
this.
a little patience
A little bit of patience when you're making
changing
a serious
gears.
transition.
Right. Okay. All right. That's a
good-
good feedback.
this is good mahalo
Good
feedback here.
All right.
All right.
So there you go. Okay. And let's hear what Mark Jeffrey says the worst part about working for Jason Calacanis is.
Well, in my view, there's probably 2 things.
Whoa! I said one thing. Okay. I didn't say you get amnesty for the first. You don't get amnesty for the second.
Let's come back
All right. Go ahead. You get amnesty. Go ahead.
Come on.
2.
Amnesty.
So, basically, the first thing is sometimes you do go on tilt, and you have
Yes.
you have a temper, and when you get
Yeah.
going, you can't stop. You just go you
Right.
start going crazy.
I tilt. Yeah.
And when that happens, it's very difficult. The conversation ceases, and it just
Right.
becomes like a torrent pouring
Right.
at you. And and it's not.
I tilt.
I will say
sometimes.
that you also got a lot better about it this year.
Yes. I've been working on it.
And with the baby coming,
That's
you
definitely true.
I've worked on it for the last job.
It happened more earlier, and it's happening less.
I would say it happened more in the middle when we had traffic that was spectacular growth, and then it was like, we were going 10, 20, 30% a month compounded growth, and then we went to this like 5% compounded growth a month, which is basically what the whole internet grows at. So if you're growing at 2%, you get no effing credit. Like you're supposed to grow at 2% a month because that's what internet grows, 2 or 3% a month.
Yeah.
So that was when I know personally I was tilting. I was infuriated with myself most of all that traffic was not growing.
I have an idea for you.
Okay, but anyway.
When he has his baby-
so when I'm tilting,
so
but
that's
that's
the
okay.
first
So the second one.
The second one is, I live in a world of careful planning.
Right.
And a world where like I'm building. I'm
Yes.
Putting all this
Mark is the
stuff
CTO.
together, so.
Mark is the CTO.
So my world depends on things being predictable, and you have a short attention span sometimes.
Yeah.
It's exactly what Lon said. You'll like flip from thing to thing to thing.
Right.
And I have to make sure that doesn't upset the careful, planning.
Planning.
And you're like, oh, my warships they cannot turn like that.
Right.
So I have to make sure that I turn with you, but without destroying what's already going on.
Yeah. Okay. All right. This is interesting. So we have Tyler says that. I was crying. No. Tyler says I am. What was the word? You're too demanding.
Yeah,
I think you're too demanding. You think you are insensitive.
insensitive. And he called you insensitive.
Right. And you think I changed the gears pretty brutally.
Right.
And I could work on that by maybe making the transitions a little bit better.
Yeah. giving
And
people
Mark
a little
thinks
bit of-
sometimes I go on tilt. It's kind of true, but it's getting
This
better.
is like the true 360.
And then the second
yeah,
was
thing
what?
going on right
working
now.
it out.
I like this. Can you hug it out?
Changing direction.
Change your direction too much. All right.
Can we get a? Will you guys hug it out?
No, this is. I mean, it's not. I wrote down on the piece of paper that I'm unreasonable.
It matches
That's
up
what I
exactly
wrote.
what you guys thought said,
Unreasonable.
actually. That's impressive.
I think that's a little bit of what all of us said
Yeah,
would,
totally.
would add up to
That's
that.
the effects. We described the
Right.
effects.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
described we gave you the symptoms, and you.
Yeah. I think in my heart of hearts, I think I've come to peace with this as an entrepreneur because this is my third company, and I have burned out a lot of people, a lot of good people, but everybody who's worked with me, who's like the good people who work with me. I'm not talking about the people I fired. Screw them. I mean, they got fired for a reason. I really don't care about their opinions. But for the people who've worked with me, they will tell you this, whether it's Brian Alvey or Peter Rojas or Rafat Ali. I've always been unrealistic and unreasonable and tried to shoot for the stars. And typically we got the moon.
Right.
And so I've been rewarded on a behavioral basis with being unrealistic as an entrepreneur. And I only feel good when there is progress. When there is not progress, my mind starts getting crazy. This is what goes, just so you guys know what goes inside my mind. I go literally crazy if it's not progressing. So I will sit there and I go, traffic's not up.
Yeah.
Advertising's not going.
You get obsessive compulsive. We're
Twitter
OCD.
login's not working. Why isn't Twitter login working? These other sites have Twitter login working. I've got all these brilliant people. This little site with one person, and then my mind starts, well, if you have 12 people working for you, you're spending millions of dollars a year, and the site with one person has Twitter login, and you don't have Twitter login? How could you not have Twitter login? And these guys who have this, and Jimmy Wales got his thing out before ours, and Jimmy Wales has this, and my mind just goes,
I have a feeling you don't like Jimmy Wales.
No, Jimmy Wales, I think he is a great guy for a nonprofit. Commercial situation, I wouldn't bet a dime on him. Literally. If you gave me $1 million for every dollar I invested in him, literally, I wouldn't put $2 down. For the chance to go from 2 to 2 million, I wouldn't even do it. But anyway, it's a side thing. So unreasonable. And so, but you guys are all still here.
Which means?
Which means what?
Yeah.
You guys like working for me or working at this company, obviously. So is it that you put up with my unreasonableness? You guys could all find other jobs. So it's not that you guys can't find other jobs. You're not locked into here. You're all very employable. As a matter of fact, you guys all have come to me and telling me you got offers from other people. Tyler from CEOs of other companies. You have things all the time. Mark has things all the time. I know that. So how do you, because this is what I'm interested in, how do you reconcile that? Do you look at it and say, you know, he's flawed, but the goods outweigh the bad. It is unreasonable, but I am being pushed and I'm doing the best work of my career, so therefore I should stay. I'm learning, I'm having fun. How do you deal with it?
I think I have the answer to that. We're always moving forward. It's getting better. The products we're producing get better all the time.
Yep.
The site gets better. The experience gets better. So even if along the way there are these bumps or problems or, oh, I can't believe what he's asking us to do today, or, you know, I've worked 8 straight weekends or something, like, you always feel like you're moving in the right direction, and most jobs I've ever had don't feel that way. It feels like things go wrong, things get sidetracked, things don't go the way you want.
Yeah, big company jobs, think about it, right?
Yeah.
Every day you show up and you don't see progress.
Right, so if your boss is unreasonable at some big company and nothing progresses, fail.
Yeah,
if your boss is unreasonable at times and the company's progressing, the ends maybe justify the means.
Well, and I'm getting more responsibility here. I'm moving up. I'm getting more to do.
You're growing.
My job is getting more interesting. That's when you're at a company where you're sort of stuck in middle management somewhere. Right. You're never moving forward. You don't see much of a future there. It's a lot more grinding and painful when you also are not crazy.
It's challenging. You're building something.
See, and this is the
thing. Results.
This is the thing. I have, and we do this now in every single interview we have with somebody to work at this company. And we've gotten even better at it, I think, which is telling them it's an unreasonable environment at times. It is a fun place to work. You're going to learn a lot. Your career is going to advance. But if you can't deal with a little bit of maniacal unreasonableness, don't take the job.
Right. It's a startup.
Well, yeah, but it's also, I think there's like a so it's a startup, and then there's a subsection of like sort of crazy startups.
Sure.
And so anyway, but you're right. Every startup should be unreasonable. By definition, you're doing something unreasonable. I'm going to create something great out of nothing.
Right.
Therefore, you are doing something unreasonable. You're going to change your market. You're going to,
solve problems.
Solve some huge problems. So that is unreasonable.
Yeah.
So okay, and then so how do my mic is a little below? Oh, okay.
Me?
So how you two guys resolve all this? He says it ends justify the mean, I think, is how it started out.
Well, I think for me, we've been friends. A lot of people don't know us. We've been friends for about 15 years.
Yeah.
So,
right.
And I knew you long before this.
Right.
I think that helps a lot, to be honest with you.
How so?
It's business, not personal.
Well, I mean, because I already know you. I knew you as a person before I worked with you here. So, just having that base allows me to just sort of, when you go like that, I let it roll off me probably a lot more than some people here do.
Right.
And if I truly get mad, I'll take you.
No, you take me outside, and you're like, Jason, over the line. It's happened like twice.
Yeah.
Like you have to stop.
Yeah. And I feel like I can do that.
Of course, I look for you to do that. I mean,
so,
of course.
The second thing is this is a great company, and that's
right.
And I'm not just saying that because the camera's on me. I mean,
right.
there really are very few great companies.
Right.
And that is the biggest reason.
So see, that's outcomes. Okay, and Tyler, you just can't find another job. you just love the fact that you get to.
But now he's got a jingle.
No, he's got a jingle. I think for Tyler, it's the fact that you get to travel the world with me and go to, and you know that any city we go to, I'm going to ask you what are the 3 best restaurants in the city, and we're going to go to them. Yeah. It's basically, I mean, you have the greatest job ever. Because you fly with me.
He does have a pretty kick-ass
We've
job.
been to Paris, London, Greece. You didn't come to Greece. Paris, London, Germany, Copenhagen,
The
Tokyo,
Sydney picture?
Korea. I mean, we've been everywhere. Sydney. And we always go to the best restaurants, have a good time. So that's it for him.
Yeah.
No. What is it?
It's
good benefits.
Boring. I mean, related to that,
Right.
is that it never gets boring.
Right. So because we're progressing, it's unrealistic at times. The good thing about unrealistic is that it's exciting.
Yeah.
It's just not exciting when it's not working.
Yeah.
Which, trust me, I don't know if you guys know the amount of stress it is to be a CEO. Mark has been a CEO. I mean, it's extraordinary. You guys work your best to make things grow and go in the right direction. And when it doesn't, it doesn't. You keep trying. When it doesn't go in the right direction for the CEO,
It's bad.
it's bad news. That means boop, spotlight, boop, spotlight. It's like press. Why is traffic flat? Boop, haters in comments. Oh, my whole fire trap. Bored. Boop. Investors. Boop. Can I get an update? Why is traffic? Roloff Botha calling. Matt Coffin calling. That's not a pleasant call, Matt Coffin. Why aren't we growing? I mean, that guy wants to grow everything. He's unreasonable too. Well, this has been
like a very nice man.
No, he's awesome. He's awesome. Well, this is a great topic. Yeah. You're all fired.
Every startup. Every startup goes through this. I mean, it's not just your CEO; it's your manager.
Yeah, that's right. I agree. And so you can go, Mark. I don't mean to take you out of your call. Thank you for getting everything done. And I think we need to go and do the news. But before I go, and have one more question for you. Yeah. What's next for Bill Shrink?
So
what's the big thing? Because is it going to become a destination site? Am I going to
no.
Content site, or are you just going to power everybody's?
So a couple things. One is definitely more verticals, right? More products. So it's cell phones, it's credit cards, gas. We'll have
hotels.
We'll launch savings accounts and CDs.
Oh, okay,
We'll
that's
have,
good.
Small business. Small business. Find the best card as a small business. We'll have
insurance, maybe.
Definitely.
Insurance.
Mortgages, of course. We'll
mortgages.
Have Triple Play is on the list as well. So
what's Triple Play?
TV, internet, phone.
Oh, I need that. Yeah, like so. I put in. I got FiOS versus Time Warner. What should I do?
It'd be even more of what do you watch, how many rooms you have, where do you live, and just finding the right packages for you. Anything around. Think of the big bills that you get every month, and if consumers don't know what to do because there's so many choices, and we're just there to simplify for them. And then on an ongoing basis, right? Things change. We'll notify you. We'll send you an alert every week.
Yes.
Where to get gas. We'll send you an alert every 3 to 6 months. Maybe switch plans even within network. Get a better texting plan, better data plan. Savings account CD, when your CD matures, we'll send you a notification. So it's about building this relationship with the consumer.
So the ongoing relationship is going to be tremendous. Because if you save me money on my credit card, now I'm going to look to you for the next 10 things.
Building brand, building trust, building that relationship, and essentially we have your back.
Yeah. And you have a great domain name. Yes. I mean, it is what it says it is.
It is.
I mean, it's pretty sweet.
Thanks.
All right, so now is the people's favorite part of the show. A lot of people say this is their favorite part of the show, which many people do. They love
expectations.
The news.
Oh, nice picture.
That's their favorite part of the show.
That is
yes.
That's a great pose, by the way.
Yeah. Posing. Was my mic on?
I think you're right. It's not you.
Do you have like a set of poses? I'd like to see like.
It's just that one. I pose for every photo that way. Family photos.
Everything.
Yeah,
no,
everything.
Really?
Yeah.
Everything is like.
No, but you should have like a set, as you.
Right. Oh, like the 360.
All right, let's get into it. What's in the news, Lon? Yes.
All right. Our top story this week: Twitter down for almost the whole day yesterday, in and out. It was down for a bunch of hours all in the morning. They're saying now it was a Georgian, the country, not the state, a Georgian bloggers' accounts were being attacked on Twitter, Facebook, LiveJournal, Blogger, YouTube, and that was where the denial service attack was coming from. Could it have been the Russian government? Nobody really knows, trying to shut down a Georgian blogger. Are we becoming over-reliant on one service to keep us all connected? People were freaking out yesterday.
No, and I think I know what the plot of the next James Bond movie is going to be. Basically,
Twitter. They
basically they take Twitter down, and James Bond has got to go find these
Twitter fingers.
Twitter finger. No, this is it's not a big deal.
Yeah, come on.
Denial of service attacks happen. Mm-hmm. What you're seeing is a denial of service attack with a service that is that's growing very quickly, and a service that did historically have some infrastructure problems that they've started to get through. It's the reason you're not seeing this on Facebook and YouTube is because those companies are between 3 and 5 years ahead of Twitter in scaling.
Oh yeah, infrastructure.
And
is huge.
if they were attacked during their critical growth period, so if Facebook got attacked 3 years ago, if YouTube got attacked 4 years ago, it would be the same situation.
Well, Facebook actually had problems as
really?
well after
I was
this
doing
attack.
okay, but
it was off and on.
If the biggest problem we have on the internet is denial of service attacks shutting things down, we're in really good shape because there's nothing much you can do about people having hundreds of thousands of machines sending data. That's how the internet works. So it has proven that the internet is pretty reliable. I give them credit for fighting through it.
Yeah. It's not easy.
It's not easy. And what's going to happen as a result of this, I believe, is that you're going to see certain countries have their internet turned off at different points in time. Because these things always originate outside the U.S. China, Eastern Bloc countries, it's never like Canada or, the UK or Paris or Korea are doing this. It's usually coming out of China, whatever. And if you look at the stats of these bots, they're launching bot attacks from those kind of places. And so you could say, turn off all IPs from Russia coming into Twitter. And they may have to do that kind of stuff. If yesterday they turned off, I bet you if yesterday they said any IP from Russia gets turned off, the problem is solved. They're reluctant to do that because you don't want to just blanket turn off Russia. But you know what? If Russia's where all the problems are coming from, to turn off and let everybody else still be up is a pretty viable solution. But China is the other issue. I mean, a lot of these attacks come out of China. Yeah.
I mean, 50-something people. I mean,
Facebook's big, though.
Facebook. I mean,
they have a lot of
huge
infrastructure. I think it is what it is what it comes down to. We're going to have these things. There's always going to be some way to screw with people.
Yeah.
I mean, it is weird, though, that
the world didn't end.
The world didn't end. And yesterday, I got out a couple of tweets, and as I said in the Wall Street Journal when they called me for comment, it was like a day at the beach or going for a run. You don't tweet from those as well.
It's not like the internet went down. I mean,
perspective. Well, that's what people were saying is it almost does feel like the internet is down.
Yeah, except that you have email and you have a phone. I mean, this is the joke of it.
That's one of the trending topics today is, what did you do while Twitter was down?
Yeah, I think that's people goofing to a certain extent, maybe. Because
I think if it's your life, you probably should get out more.
I think Tilla Tequila has a bigger problem. The people who really suffered yesterday clearly were the celebrities.
Yes, Diddy. What is Diddy going to do with himself?
Tilla Tequila, Ashton, my boy Kutcher, these guys, they have no platform to get their word out. Except for television, movies, radio, MySpace, and walking through the mall. And that's really the tragedy of this whole thing.
Yeah.
Is that when Tilla Tequila or Brooke Burke can't get their message out, the world suffers.
Diddy couldn't tell me to share the love for 2.5 hours.
It was devastating for me.
If Google went down, okay, that's news.
Yeah.
I mean, Twitter and Facebook.
All right, here we go. What's the next story?
Dig. Going to begin testing Dig ads this coming week. Here's how it works. Users vote on ads they like. The more positive votes an ad gets, the cheaper the advertising becomes for the sponsors. So the idea is companies will cater ads specifically to the Dig community, trying to come up with deals or the stuff that the Dig users are going to really want. The sample image TechCrunch had up, which I thought was interesting, was an ad by that store Threadless, the T-shirt store, with 3 Keyboard Cat Moon shirts on sale.
Right.
So they're hoping we'll get a ton of clicks.
I think their CPM is about 7 cents right now.
Right.
Yeah.
So this is their hope to.
So that Threadless will be 7 cents, and Punch the Monkey is going to be $187,
Right.
which is the exact opposite of what happens in the real world.
Right.
Which shows this is brilliant. I love this idea.
Yeah. So the one thing though, the ads themselves don't have comment threads.
Really?
Obviously,
No, too scary.
like the other Dig
way too
posts.
scary.
But do you think isn't that part of what makes
It's all
Dig
part of Dig?
It's too scary. When we had Weblogs Inc., we came up with a format called the Adver post. And the idea was, write, and Volvo did it, and a bunch of people did it, write your ad as a blog post. We will put it in line with the other blog posts where people's eyes are as opposed to on the side or the top. And it will say sponsored on the top and the bottom. It'll be in different font, different background color. Perez Hilton does this. And if you write the ad in a clever way about, in the same tone, and also Gawker's doing this now, you will get people to read it. The problem is there are 2% of the audience who are the people who have like ads turned off, who get really offended by advertising, and they will write...
The trolls.
Yeah, the trolls will come in and
Flame
Goatsy
wars.
and Lemon Party and all kinds of nastiness inside your comments. And, you know, if you're the Toyota Prius, you really don't want a Goatsy Lemon Party going on.
No. You pretty much, no matter who you are.
You don't want two girls in one cup and all this other stuff, Tub Girl. Like,
None of that.
That's what's going to happen. Because you have 12-year-old boys, 4chan, Dig, whatever crowd. And let's face it, the Dig crowd is the 12 to 15-year-old, like, you know, kid crowd or the adults who act like that.
Right.
And they're going to just demolish people. I mean, look how vicious they are. I mean, they're vicious in a clever way. YouTube people are vicious in a dumb way.
Right.
You know, even blogs like TechCrunch and Silicon Valley Insider are like vicious in a stupid way. It's like people act like idiots in comments. So the only way to do it
Especially when it's anonymous.
Well, anonymity plus internet, So all they have to do, if they want to accept comments, is to have them be moderated.
Yeah.
But then that's kind of lame.
Right.
Because you're only going to put out the ones that are like, I love it, Threadless rocks. But so it's a brilliant idea. They don't need the comments. And I think some advertisers will warm up to this. It's a great idea.
Wait,
I think it's going to work.
cheap advertising.
Well, what's going to happen is they're going to say, I'm willing to buy at an $8 CPM this much advertising. And then Dig's going to go back to them and say, by the way, you had so many thumbs up that we gave you 3 times. We bonused you, 3 times the amount of advertising, so your net CPM went down to 2. And then they're going to say, oh, next time we'll make an even better ad. We'll do the, cat plus this meme plus this meme.
Right.
So what they're doing is giving a feedback loop, a monetary feedback loop, like a tax, basically, to the advertisers to make better advertising.
And there's unlimited inventory, so...
Right. On Dig, they have unlimited inventory. I mean, there's so many people
most of the
loading.
sites, right?
Yeah, in MySpace. So if MySpace were to do something like this, it'd be very powerful because people don't take the time to make a better ad. So it's sort of like if we had a tax on soda, people would drink less of it.
You don't think there is an incentive already to make a better ad? I mean, you want to get people's attention, you want people to
Click-through,
click.
yes.
No, but those are optimized. It's different, right? I think today they make ads for optimization for click, not whether or not it's a good ad.
Right.
There's a difference, right? The subtleties is...
Right, punch the monkey, your IQ test, which model
They'll trick you, or they tricking you to click versus...
This is a more... And if this becomes something that people do, as a rule and say, you know what, if your ads... If the audience writes that, if more than 50% of the audience likes your ads, you're going to get 10% off. If 70% like it, you get 20% off. And 80% like it, you're going to get 50% off. People will make really sexy, good-looking ads that people like. It's a brilliant idea. And people need a monetary reason,
Does their net effective CPM just crater, though?
They can throttle it. So they can start that the discount is here at this point. When they sell out, they can give less of a discount. But I mean, they're growing, so well, I don't know if they're growing, but I think they're growing. I mean, Dig's
it's a huge site.
It's reached. It's a large site. It's reached its national audience.
Huge.
Yeah. Okay.
Next story. New startup Listia created a sort of auction system, but you give your stuff away for free. It's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
So you post an item that you want to get rid of, and then they give you points based on what you posted. You get points when you sign up. You get points when you get other people to sign up, and then you spend your points at auctions, you bid.
For other free stuff.
So, for other people's free stuff.
So it's a virtual currency for free stuff.
Right, and then they're hoping to make money because if you want more points and you don't have any way to get more points, you don't want to give away your own stuff, you can buy 50 points for $5.
Right.
So it really is like a virtual currency, sort of like eBay, but
so
for trading stuff instead
of
selling
points.
The way we added a currency on Mahalo Answers with the Mahalo dollars, they're adding to Yahoo Answers. They're doing it to Craigslist.
Yeah, it's great, right. Craigslist with a virtual currency sort of component.
And
it's all geared around trading more than like exchanging
People love
stuff.
virtual currencies. Zang is doing it for Texas Hold'em Poker. We're doing it for Knowledge Exchange. Now somebody's doing it for Craigslist. You're going to see everybody try to put a virtual currency on everything. Email, buying
It does
stuff.
seem, I checked it out, and it seems like you're going to have to trade a bunch of your stuff to get other stuff.
Right.
So, even if you want like a DVD like I think somebody had a used Weatherman DVD with Nicolas Cage, which is not even a good movie. If you're going to bid on that, pull your bid.
And what did
but even to get that, my 50 points for signing up wouldn't even get me close. So I got to sign up, and then I really have to get 10, 20 friends to sign up, or I've got to give something away that I have.
But there's a lot of junk going on, and it's like eBay, but you're trading, but there's no taxes and money involved. I guess it's shipping.
There can be. And if you're giving it away, you're taking care of shipping it to someone, I think, presumably.
And there's no refunds or returns and points, I guess.
I'm a big fan of Craigslist. And actually, the key, if you ever give things away on Craigslist, don't do free. Do $10 or $20. It gets the crazies. You do free, someone's crazy is going to show up.
Right.
$10, for something relatively, you get rid of the crazies. So
people looking for friends. All right, next story.
Next story. That was efficient, that one.
More like that. We like it.
Microsoft held an online contest to see who could come up with the best jingle for Bing, their new search engine.
I heard it's terrible.
The winner, we have it ready to go. The winner is a guy named Jonathan.
I've been wanting to hear this.
He goes by the name Rock Cookie Bottom. This won him $500 for this engine.
Wow, Microsoft's really generous.
Bing, bing, bing goes the internet. Bing, bing, bing goes the internet. Bing, bing, bing goes the internet. Bing goes the internet. If you're looking to learn how to dance like me, Bing goes the internet. If you want to find some pants like me, Bing goes the internet. If you're looking for answers to all of life's questions, Bing goes the internet. If you're looking for fixes to all of life's messes, Bing goes the internet. Bing, 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 bing. Bing goes the internet. Bing, bing. Bing goes the internet. Bing, bing. Bing goes the internet. Bing goes the internet.
Okay.
The image ruined it.
Yes.
All right.
You got to get a good green screen. You got to put a lot of light on it.
I mean, this is self-done.
Is Microsoft trying to do bad marketing? Like the Jerry Simon. Oh, hold on a second. Hold on.
Theme song.
We got a Tyler Insight. Tyler Insight.
Insights from Tyler, 'cause Tyler is smarter than you. When I say you, I really mean me. That's why we need insights from Tyler.
All right, insight from Tyler.
This better be good.
We paid the jingle.
Doing here.
What have they done?
What they're doing is, it was very low budget.
Right.
It was very
Clearly.
campy.
Right.
Quite.
It was everything that Microsoft is not known for.
Okay.
And the enemy for Microsoft is the fear of a big company coming in and taking over the search space.
Right.
Microsoft has realized that all these young, scrappy companies like your Twitters and your Brizzlies and your, they come in with these campy little things and they work. And Microsoft's big marketing campaigns for Vista and everything else that they do haven't really led to the success they want. So they're coming in with a very they're trying to brand it around that wacky YouTube vibe or associate their Bing with that.
I like Bing. It's kind of cool.
I like Bing too.
I give them a lot of credit.
Have you seen the TV commercial with the Faircast? I thought that you type in Hawaii.
Yeah. I think they're in trouble about that.
Really?
One of the news segments, I think some people cried a little foul because if you held up Microsoft's homework to Kayak's homework and you look at it through the light, it looks like they copied their SATs.
Yeah, it's very
I mean, it is literally a photocopy down to like pixel level. Right. I mean, you can, in my understanding of the law, very hard to copyright and infringe, get somebody infringing your design. It's hard to copyright that and trademark it, but it just doesn't feel right to a startup to have them photocopy it literally.
Yeah.
The other question I have is, why would Microsoft give $500 to somebody who clearly looks like a serial killer?
He does a little.
Because this person,
he writes a song every day. Rock.
No.
We've had him on.
Well,
this
then he's
week
definitely
on YouTube.
a serial killer.
This is song a day number 202. Was the Bing Goes the Internet song.
If you go to the gym with this guy, change your gym membership.
Why would I go to the gym with
if this guy goes to your gym,
my gym, right? Okay.
If this guy is at your gym, change your gym membership. This guy looks like he's about to shoot.
He's coming into the Latin step
Anybody
class.
else? Am I the only one?
Is it too soon for that? Maybe too soon.
Too soon for the LA Fitness
Tyler?
humor?
Too
couple weeks?
You're talking with your shirt and you're talking about his pants.
Oh! The shirt is pretty unique.
Come on. Do you like
Insults from Tyler.
You know,
because Tyler likes to insult you.
I'm a man.
Insults from Tyler.
Tyler. I'm a man. I can wear flowers on my shirt.
Okay.
I'm a man.
It's very rugged.
I'm telling you,
Don't listen
this
to him.
shirt is excellent
Okay.
Come on.
for TWiST episode circa 78. Let's go on to the hello.
You know, hey, if you ain't got no style,
It's brutal.
cool.
Yeah.
It's great. Are we supposed to do homework?
Yeah, but I need to get the caller on the line.
Okay, we'll get him on the line while we do the final news story or two.
Well, we'll do the Deadpool. We'll make the final story.
The Deadpool.
Yes. Do we have music for the?
We do.
We have taps.
That's a nasty thing.
Bix. Bix was a karaoke competition website. Yahoo bought it in 2006, and they shut it down this week. It now redirects to the front page of Yahoo. They were trying to do, I had to go digging into old blog posts to find what they actually did. It was sort of American Idol online. There was, you submit yourself doing karaoke using the Bix sort of interface.
Right.
And then the public votes, and they pick, and the person who won got $50,000.
There was a couple startups back then, but they were a trend.
It's actually a really, if somebody had that idea for TechRun 50, I might let them in. It's a good idea.
It was
So that was the idea behind Bix originally. They had this sort of online
Do they own the
American
domain
Idol.
name Bix.com?
Yeah.
I believe they did.
Oh, wow. That's a good three-letter domain, too. Bix.
Michael
They had-
Spicer and Leonard Spicer, two co-founders. Michael's now over at Sutter Hill
How much did they buy
Yes.
it for? You know?
I didn't find
Somebody
that
look it up in the
information.
chat room.
They
How
had
much did they
raised $6.77 million prior to acquisition. I did find that. And yeah, Sutter Hill Ventures was one of the companies that invested in it.
Michael's now over there.
Yeah.
Leonard's doing his own. Leonard did the FB40.
30 million.
FB140 app on Twitter.
Oh, right,
Leonard
yeah.
Spicer.
Oh,
He's
interesting.
a co-founder of Bix.
Well, this is a great idea.
It was a good
It was.
idea.
And I think if I'm going to handicap why it didn't work out, no passionate founder in Yahoo, no champion.
Yeah.
And you need to have a champion inside those big companies, or else, boo, Deadpool. Into the Deadpool. Where should we put it?
What else?
This Deadpool's getting crowded now.
There's
There
a
it
lot.
goes.
Oh, there it goes.
This is the
Cosmo.
Deadpool. And
Clear. I'm still depressed about Clear. I was in San Jose Airport.
Don't tell me you bought
a
Clear
user now?
membership.
You-
I used. It was awesome. SFO, SJC,
We were talking about like
Oakland.
Who would use
It's
this?
people- When you travel, I could leave my house an hour before my flight, show up, and walk through security in 2 minutes. Consistently. So you get
Okay, so wait a second. They had it at San Jose, SFO.
in Oakland, but I used SFO in San Jose mostly.
So all three airports in SF had it.
Yeah.
And you paid $100, $200 for this?
It's like
100 a year?
180. The first year I got free actually,
Uh-huh.
and then the second year was like 180.
So you're paying $15 a month, and you do 2 flights a month?
No, probably four or
Three,
five.
four or
yeah.
five a month.
Yeah.
Okay, so for a frequent
it's well
traveler,
worth it. Frequent traveler's worth it. For casual, definitely not.
so you're paying like $3 every time you go through,
For the guarantee that I can get through security and not miss my flight, it's so
and you go right to the front of the line, you go right through.
Yes.
And you
So
were
worth
concerned about they have your data now.
Yeah,
What's going to happen to all that
Of course, I'm
information?
paranoid.
He's twittering from the airport, right? Anyway.
I'm completely paranoid. They have my retina scan. They have my fingerprints. Allegedly,
Right.
allegedly they're destroying it.
That's what
Yeah,
they said.
you know what?
Allegedly.
Wait till the bankruptcy judge makes a decision on that, because the bankruptcy judge, this happened the last time during Web 1.0 when all those companies went out of business, bankruptcy judges broke the privacy policies and all the contracts that people agreed to. Because a bankruptcy judge can do whatever he thinks is in the best interest of the shareholders.
Right.
So if there's a bankruptcy judge out there doing this
Selling
case,
the damn
he can
data
say that
somewhere,
if we sell this database to another security company and they're willing to pay for it, boom. The judge is going to think before they do that, so I would think they would not do it.
But it was, you weren't a fan of Flight Clear?
The way I looked at it wasn't at LAX, it wasn't at enough airports, and a lot of times I'm in business class, so I get to the front line anyway. And
see, I didn't have status anywhere.
yeah, it just didn't make sense to me. And like, the lines at LAX are never that bad.
I fly Southwest sometimes.
I fly Southwest.
We're Bill Shrink, not Bill Spend. It's
No,
always
Southwest is the
like
majority
that?
of my flights.
You like that?
Hey-o.
You like
Well
that?
done.
That's
Those
good.
spells for you.
Very good.
Here's the thing with that with killing
Hold on.
Whoa.
Insights from Tyler, 'cause Tyler is smarter than you. When I say you, I really mean me. That's why we need insights from Tyler.
That was Jason.
That was me.
I know people, the crowd, the audience doesn't think so either.
Yeah,
But
right?
the thing with Clear was they had 3 people standing there.
Yeah, it was
doing
overstaffed.
nothing,
It was overstaffed.
right?
Yeah.
Clearly.
If they know that you're coming, why not wait for you at the curb, grab your bags, and then walk you through? Or why not just have somebody waiting at the curb? They don't have to know you're coming.
They could help you with your bags.
They'd just be standing there next to SkyCab.
So it becomes more like a concierge.
And now they're marketing themselves out in front where people are like, gosh, I
All
wish
right,
someone
there you
was
go.
grabbing my bags there when I got out.
See, now, if Steve Brill called into the show, he would have got that insight from Tyler, and we'd be fine. It wouldn't be dead. Let's do homework. Who did their homework?
Who's that?
That's me.
That's you too.
Do you know what I look like?
Reproduce well in photographs.
Jesus Christ.
You don't.
All right, here we go. We have a homework
Phone's
caller.
ringing.
Phone is ringing. Who could it be? Okay. I think I have Robert on the phone. Is this Robert?
Yes, it is.
Robert, how are you doing?
I'm doing fine. How are you guys doing?
We're having a really fun time, if you can't
Yeah.
tell. It's a pretty raucous show.
Right, it's a Friday, real Friday afternoon show.
We should have beers. Are there beers in the building? Somebody bring us 3 beers in here.
How many times have I said
So, Robert, you read and/or listened to the audiobook of How the Mighty Fall by author Jim Collins, of course, of Good to Great. And did you listen to the audiobook or did you read it?
I listened to the audiobook off of Audible.
Ah, yes, so did I. Audible,
I love Audible.
not a sponsor of
They should be.
Why not?
This Week in Startups
on.
or Kevin Pollak's show.
Fourth spot available, right?
They would get a 5th spot. And here's what I want to say. Everybody who's a fan of the show should really be twittering right now, hey, at Audible, why are you not supporting This Week in Startups? Jason supports you all the time.
It's ridiculous.
Get in the game, blah, blah, blah. This guy bought the Audible book because I told him to, because he loves to do his homework.
Absolutely true. Absolutely true. The only reason I did it.
And so tell us, what did you learn from reading How the Mighty Fall? What was your one major takeaway that an entrepreneur, if you told an entrepreneur you got to read this book, this is the most important takeaway, or you don't have time to read the book, here's the most important takeaway. What is the most important takeaway of the book?
Well, I have to refer back to something that Peter said, that he was in the right place at the right time, that he was lucky, that there was success based upon his people. And the first thing that really struck a chord with me was stage 1, hubris born of success. You know, that prideful sense that we deserve, or we, because we're smarter than other people, are going to be successful in spite of ourselves. And I've certainly seen a couple of companies who have felt that way and are no longer around. And so that would be the first thing, you know, understanding what are the real dynamics of a high-performance company. And it's not because, you know, the smartest guy in the room is sitting in the CEO chair, but it's all the pieces, you know, fitting together and
That's correct.
and things of that nature.
That's very correct. And I've said it here many times in this program, never get high on your own supply, which is the Scarface way of saying that you, just because you've had success in the past does not guarantee you success with this project or with this product.
Right.
Just because...
You work your ass off.
Right, just because Bill Shrink does a great job for credit cards, Bill Shrink does a great job for gas, doesn't mean Bill Shrink's going to do a great job for insurance or for mortgages.
That's right.
You guys have to be hungry, and they have to look at it and say, how do we innovate in this space?
Absolutely.
And that, I think you're correct. That is the killer point of this is you have to remain hungry and you have to innovate. You don't innovate, you die.
Yeah. Don't sit on your laurels.
I think he calls it refreshing the primary flywheel.
Mm-hmm. Right. And the flywheel in Good to Great is the thing that you do better than anybody.
Right.
And the thing that gives your growth. So in the case of Bill Shrink, the flywheel is...
Each vertical product. We start over completely as if we hadn't done the other ones, right? In the sense that we have to build the best damn experience that exists out there. And it has to be pleasant. You have to walk through and say, wow, that was awesome. And it's hard. Every single time you start over, right? I mean, you leverage kind of what you learned, obviously, But you can't just say, oh, well, because these are good, well, if we slap it up, it'll be good. It doesn't work like that.
Right. It's innovate or die. Any other insights you have from How the Mighty Fall?
I think that the second point was one that struck home with me, the undisciplined pursuit of more. You know, I think that, you know, everybody wants to pursue more. I mean, that's what we're in this game for, you know, kind of extending and expanding our reach. But
growth, yeah.
That undisciplined feel of just thrashing about and doing anything because for any reason without any empirical knowledge or any foundation, I thought was very insightful as well.
Right. Microsoft thinking they're going to go into the content business with MSNBC. Right. Google thinking they're going to start Facebook with Orkut. Yahoo thinking that, what was Yahoo's blunder? Yahoo 360 thinking they were going to be Facebook. I mean, a lot of AOL going into broadband, which they had no assets in. I mean,
do what you know.
Yeah.
Do what you're good at. Do what you're great at.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now,
Exactly.
Robert, how long have you been listening to the show?
I started listening when the homework assignment was The King of Kong, and I started listening because it was recommended by a friend of mine. And so it's been, what, 3 or 4 or 5 shows now since then, you know?
Yeah.
So I've enjoyed every one.
So you've done your homework on King of Kong.
That was a good movie.
Yes, I have.
And what would be your sort of inspiration or takeaway from that homework assignment? Because I am judging you now, and all homework assignments must understand this. You're not going to be judged just on this homework. As the professor at TWiST University, I reserve the right to ask you about previous homework assignments. Yes. So what did you think?
You know,
of
I think that was the story of 2 guys pursuing a similar goal in absolutely starkly different ways. And one guy was, you know, kind of high on himself, you know.
Yeah.
Mitchell.
I loved his blow dryer. I mean, I don't think I've seen a guy blow dry his hair for, you know, years, since the 70s probably. And the other guy was a little less, a little more humble, a little, you know, but still both of them were passionate about achieving their goal, what they wanted to. And I think that, in a sense, they were both winners and they were both losers because they both gave up something to achieve their goal that they may not have intended to give up.
Yes.
And, you know, so I think that for me it was about balance and making sure that, you know, I have what it takes to stick through to the end regardless of which path I take.
Yes.
And I could see kind of a stark difference between the 2 guys.
Have you
and
done...
in the end, I liked one guy over the other, you know. I liked the humble guy over the chili pepper guy.
So, did you do your first homework assignment, Deep Water, yet?
No, I haven't done that.
Oh!
Hang up.
No, that was very insightful.
Okay. All right, so there's a good... Alex, yeah, I got you. Alex, we need to have a list of the homework assignments in order so that people know, so they can catch up on their homework, because the semester is not over.
Because I hear you refer to him, the guy's a diving guy, you know, but I never knew what.
So if you like the coursework so far, Deep Water is going to be, it's going to hit you. It's going to hit you, and it could have a deep impact on you, and you're going to like it a lot. Thank you for calling in. Where are you going to be September 14th and 15th?
Well, I hope I'm going to be watching Jason Calacanis do lemon drops at.
No lemon drops, Tyler. If anybody puts a lemon drop, you have to tell Crute, no lemon drops. And maybe the last night we'll do a lemon drop party. Oh, man. Are you going to be in San Francisco, or you can get there?
I'm going to get there if you'll be kind enough to invite me.
Of course, you're invited as Mike Arrington, Heather, and I's guest at TechCrunch 50, September 14th to 15th. Alex will take care of everything. Thank you for doing your homework.
Thank you.
Take care.
That was impressive.
That was good.
That was good. The King, especially the King of Kong one.
Absolutely.
Very good.
Absolutely.
Does anyone like Billy Mitchell better than Steve Wiebe?
No,
come on.
But I know the problem. Here's the thing, though. You can't get 100% behind Wiebe.
Correct.
Either.
Yeah, you're
because
right.
Wiebe is too weak.
Flawed.
They're both flawed.
He wasn't confident.
Wiebe is not confident
He had no
enough.
confidence.
Yes. Even when he was great, he couldn't understand he was great. And so
Right.
there's a fine line between humility and being a big, what's the word I'm looking for?
We know the
here?
word. We can't say it.
You know, like he was a big. What's the word I'm looking for? We can
use wimp.
He was a wuss.
We can use wimp.
He was a wimp.
Yeah.
You know, like, and the other guy was a bit of a. What's the word I'm looking for here?
Jerk.
He was a jerk with a D.
Yes.
You know, he was just like a big D.
Yeah.
He was a big D.
Douchebag?
It was a little bit like that, or it could be, you know, a private investigator.
Donkey.
He was a donkey.
Nah, he was a D word.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, like short for Rick, but no. And he was.
He's unlikable. You can't.
But the other guy, I didn't like the other guy. Weeby. I mean, I liked Weeby.
You felt for him. You're rooting for him.
I'm rooting for
much
Weeby,
more
but
sympathetic. You watch that movie, it's impossible not to want him.
You
to
want
kick
him
this
to
up.
right,
win.
but you just want to reach in and grab and say, like, guy, you're better than him.
Right.
Don't take the VHS tape as legit. You should tell it. You should be like you
Own
think
it.
the VHS. You think the VHS tape is legit? You come play me. You come play me. I'm the best that ever was. I'm the best. I'm Apollo Creed. You know, like you get Apollo Creed on him.
He didn't own it.
Yes.
Right? I mean, like Apollo Creed and Rocky were both winners, right?
Yeah. Well, it depends. Technically,
well, Rocky
the
lost.
First film, Apollo
No, but
Creed
they both are winners because
no, but they both
Rocky
have a winning
wins the girl.
attitude.
Yes.
Right. Yes.
They both won something.
Rocky wins the moral victory.
Rocky wins the moral victory. He got paid. He became famous.
Right.
You know, after working in
He gets Adrian.
He gets Adrian. There's a lot of good things that happen to him. And Apollo Creed is the best, and he's sensational, and he wins. And they're
Not in the
both
second one, though.
confident. I think, and also I don't want to break the news to anybody, but he dies at number 3, right? Doesn't Apollo Creed die? Gets killed by the Russian.
Oh, no, you're right.
By the Russian.
So now the Russians have killed Apollo. Just so people who are keeping score.
There's 5.
For those people.
Well, the Russian was in 4.
The Russian
So
was
then
3.
it was in 4 that Creed.
No, Mr. T is the third
Mr. T is number 3.
T is 4,
He's
dude.
right.
Drago is 4.
Drago is 4. He dies in 4.
Come on.
So, for those people who are not paying attention, not only
Rent Rocky. That's what we're saying.
Rocky is not the homework. If you're going to do homework, it's a real thing. Just people. Not only did the Russians kill Apollo Creed, they also took down Twitter. I'm warning Russia right now. That's 2 strikes.
Are they on warning?
And Putin shirtless on horseback. They're up to something.
That's 2.5.
They're up to something.
Stop. The Russians must be stopped.
Are they on notice?
They're on notice. 2.5 strikes.
They did invest in Facebook, though.
I love the Russians. Who is the people? Who is the people? Those guys. I love those guys. What's the name of that venture capital firm who invested in Facebook at a huge valuation?
Oh gosh.
Russians are very smart people.
It's not in my notes.
I just want to let the Russians know that just 3 years ago, Facebook was the 200th largest site in the United States. Not dissimilar than Mahalo, the 200th largest site in the United States.
That's right.
Get that checkbook out, Russia. All right, is that it?
I got some more news if you want some more news.
The show's been going great. Let's do one more news here.
One more news?
We're here.
All right, let's talk hosting. Blog Data Center Knowledge surveyed 67 budget-conscious startups that started through the Y Combinator program to see where they host their sites. A lot of them still using traditional hosting services. 16 of the 67 are on Rackspace. So is this, are we seeing that cloud computing, not really what we initially thought it was going to be, not quite the same threat that we had imagined to traditional hosting companies? Are there advantages to being with a company like Rackspace?
Listen, there's
Peter needs the enterprise edition. Like
we host at a data center.
Let's see. You host managed hosting, or you do it yourself?
No, managed hosting.
You have managed hosting.
Yeah, managed hosting, but
right now.
Because cloud.
But how much does it cost you per server? It's like $1,000 a server a month.
No.
Do you have a big server bill?
No, it's very inexpensive.
5-10 grand.
Yeah, it's very inexpensive, but it's a lot because the cloud doesn't have. Well, if you went back a year ago, a lot of the databases weren't supported, open source. There's a lot of, what we startups do for free on Linux didn't transport technically in all the cloud computing and databases. They're getting there. Some of them are there. And if you do the measured cost, it's still cheaper to host.
It's still cheaper to, So what it is if you have an expandable task, like I need to analyze all this data. Exactly. So if I'm going to burst up and do this big analysis, that's for the cloud because it comes back down and it turns itself off. The problem is if you put a persistent connection on, the hourly charge is really expensive. Now, it's great when you're a small company to have managed hosting because you don't need to have a person who manages the servers. Right. However, once you're over 50 servers, game over. You need to rent space in a colo, which is what Mahalo does. We have 5 racks.
Cages.
We have a cage. We have 5 racks. We can put like 5 more in. We have 150 servers, 200 servers. We spent $250,000 on servers or something crazy like that. However, in order to do that on a managed hosting thing, we would be spending $100,000 a month.
Right.
It'd be insane. And so you'd be spending $1 million a year. So you basically buy $250,000 a server, amortize them over 3 years, and put it in a rack. So it's not unexpected the Y Combinator's using rack space.
Yeah, and also the cloud, it depends on the product. The product has huge peaks, right? So it's coming along on something, boom. You can handle and scale and then come back down. It's great, but the cost is not quite there. Engineers still love touch and feel things. Right. And you can start off like $1,000 a month at any one of these hosting services. It's not going to kill you.
Yeah. Okay. Another story?
Sure. You want to keep going?
What else you got?
Urban Spoon, popular restaurant recommendation service for your iPhone.
I have
It's the one
that.
you shake and it recommends a restaurant.
Do you like it?
I shaked it once, and then I was like, this is annoying. I would rather actually look for my thing a specific way. I have Yelp on my iPhone. I think Yelp is the best.
Yelp is the one I use.
I like Zagat.
Zagat's good too.
They're taking on OpenTable. They're going to start letting you make reservations over your iPhone, $1 per reservation, just like OpenTable. OpenTable, the difference is they make the restaurant buy a $300 sort of terminal.
Yeah.
Right.
Urban Spoon doesn't have that. Restaurants can sign up. They got a pilot program right now in Seattle, but it means restaurants have to actually manage it themselves. Like
And
they
have to have a
pull
computer.
in. Yeah, they have to have
Either
some
a
sort of
computer or a
computerized
fax machine,
system,
probably.
or they
Or
can
a phone
pull it
call.
into their OpenTable system.
Oh, does OpenTable open?
They have an API?
I think,
Really?
I believe Urban Spoon was saying that you can run it, you can enter them into your OpenTable terminal and run it all that way.
Yeah, you could do that. So it's like a layer on top.
And
of
what they're saying is that OpenTable tends to be more people making reservations in advance. Urban Spoon is like,
on
I'm
the
10
fly.
minutes away, I'm coming over right now, can you fit me in?
Right.
Good. You think it'll work? Think
No.
this is the thing
I
that's
think
going
if
to
I'm
get
10
people to
minutes away, I
download
just call.
Urban
Yeah.
Spoon?
No. Why would I pay $1 when I can make a 10-cent phone call or something? I'm going to call and I'm going to want to talk to the person on the
10
phone.
cent
Free phone call. I'm going to want to talk to the person on the phone
To make sure there's room.
to make sure that they actually get it. I'm not going to trust that I press it there because, like you're saying, I'm 10 minutes away.
Yeah, the interface is just a couple buttons. You pick the time, and then you just hit
too
it,
much.
and it sends it.
Too much work. Great idea, but it's not going to. Nobody's going to use it. I mean, OpenTable also. I mean, I very rarely use OpenTable. I would only use OpenTable if it's like a really tough restaurant to get into, and I couldn't get into the phone. But you know, the crazy thing, the reason people buy OpenTable, I believe, is that they have that floor plan sort of system, and you see the people when you come to the restaurant, they press it, and they can see their whole floor plan.
Right.
The managing of the floor, that is the best system for doing that. I think that the whole doing your reservations online is not the killer part of the system. It's the reservation management there.
Right. So for the host.
For the
to
host.
be able to pick where to seat people.
They sort of have both things, and most people associate OpenTable with, I want to do reservations online. I don't think that's how they make their money. I don't know. Somebody can look through the S1 filing or because they're public now, or the 10Q, the quarterly report. I think they make their money selling those terminals like Bloomberg does. And it's a complete hardware solution like an iPhone or a Bloomberg terminal. You have to buy from them, the services from them.
Right.
You pay monthly. If you're a big restaurant, you can't not have it.
Right.
We should pick somebody from the audience to come to TechCrunch 50. And we should pick the person to come to TechCrunch 50 from the people who tweet right now that they thank at Bill Shrink for coming on the show, and at DNA Mail, at WebSpy, and at Ustream for being on the program. And so you put those 4 in there. You got to put in Bill Shrink too. Follow Bill Shrink. Let's get Bill Shrink some more followers. So thank at Bill Shrink, thank at Ustream, thank at WebSpy, and thank at DNA Mail. These are the people who make the show possible. I thank them as the host of the program. You should thank them as the audience and part of the community so that they say, hey, you know what? We get the ad on the show, and the audience loves us for it. They know our name. This means a lot to people. It sounds to you might think, you know what, Jason's playing this up. I'm not playing it up. They love to see somebody tweet them, and if you follow them, and they know every Friday they get more followers than the other days, just go follow them right now. It costs you nothing to follow them. They're not going to spam you. Like, just follow them and let them see every time the show's on, they get another 100 followers, 50 followers. That's real value to them, and that means we can put all the money towards.
This is a nice studio,
Tyler.
By the way.
The studio is ridiculous.
I've been in a lot of new studios, and this is nice.
This is really nice. We have some big announcements coming regarding the studio.
Really? Yossi to confirm for the show.
Oh, Yossi confirmed for the show. Yossi Vadi. Okay, we have 14 people tweet since I said that, and now I will pick one. Let's see who gets the free ticket to this week in for TechCrunch 50. They're pulling up my screen. I'm looking through here.
Oh, here we go.
Look at these people thanking everybody.
They have to have a picture, I think, don't they?
Yeah, see, that's the first thing I was thinking.
I think-
only pick someone
you know
who has
what?
an avatar.
I don't think we've ever had a woman win. So let's have the guy who put a female avatar up win.
The guy.
Himani.
Himani.
Oh, she lives in the Bay Area.
She's in the Bay Area. And she's tech obsessed.
Tech obsessed.
And she's tech obsessed. So Himani, I will follow you. And you thanked Bill Shrink, Ustream, website.
And at Peter Pham, she even tweeted me.
Oh, look at that.
Thank you.
That's pretty cool. Pretty amazed Peter Pham isn't wearing a Bill Shrink t-shirt. Do you know her?
Oh, you know what? She is on the funded. She's part of the funded program.
Oh, is she?
Yeah.
Oh, I was one of the speakers at the
I
funded.
know you were.
The
Founders Institute. She's a Founders Institute student.
There you go. Okay, so thank you to Himania. Thank you to Peter Pham of Bill Shrink. You were an excellent guest. People loved you in the chat room. And now it's the time in the program where we close up and everybody rates the show on Twitter. So everybody right now, you have to rate the show between 1 and 10 and say what your favorite part of the show was. Yes, is there something I missed?
Scott and thank the guy who wrote the...
Yes.
The jingle.
Oh, okay, here we go. Two more things I have to thank. Some superfan maniac did This Week in Startups recap.com. I'm pulling it up on my thing here. Now this shows the power of the This Week, the TWiST community. And his name is Scott Simcoe. He's Scott Simcoe on Twitter. And he's a pilot.
Oh, he missed. He was on vacation.
And he was on vacation
last week.
And he's a really nice guy. He loves the show, and he writes a recap.
Yeah.
Wow,
he's very diligent. The recaps are amazing.
Can we put his?
That's impressive. Are you gonna link to it from your homepage?
We're definitely gonna. Can we make sure? Oh, and he rates the show at the end.
Yeah.
Link to it from the homepage.
And he's got a
make sure you invite him to TechCrunch 50 as my guest. If he's willing to pick me up in LA and take me on a private flight. No. Let our guy. Let's get him there if he wants to come. And
that's impressive.
It's impressive and it's awesome.
It's a pretty
I
good
mean,
site,
he really
actually.
breaks it down. Lots of
Never
info.
had a memorable quote from me. I looked through
snap.
all the times I've been on the show.
Are you begging now? You're begging for a quote.
I'm
Just lame.
I'm giving you gold here.
There's the quote.
Yeah.
There you go.
I'm giving you gold here, folks.
He can't handle my truth bomb.
And here we go. He can't handle truth bomb. What are you, a 9/11 truther now? All of a sudden?
I'm a birther.
Oh my God. Okay, so Chad Spacey here says great show, gives it a 9. I can take it. Roger, who watches every show live, is a super fan. 10 out of 10. He loved the homework caller. Tim Nukola, he watches every show, gave it a 10 out of 10. Lee Mellon gave it a 9.5. Best guest so far. Congratulations to Peter Pham on that. A little golf clap there. Yeah, people like the show. We knew that. And just for our own record keeping, we had 371 tweets during the program. I think a record.
Wow.
It's really great to have 371 tweets in real time on the program.
Thank you. Really, that's
nice,
very cool.
Thing.
Very nice.
Great program. How long did we go today? It's 3:30. Did we start at
2 hours?
About 2
we
hours.
started, yeah, exactly.
We started at 1:20. Okay, so we went 2 hours. That's ridiculous. And 2 more people rated the program. Let's see what they said. Sometimes. Oh, here we go. Sean says this was the first time, and he gives it a 9. And yeah. 10.
Do you get the long time listener, first time caller?
Yeah, we do get that. Can somebody tell me why cocaine is a trending topic?
Billy Mays.
Oh, it's Friday?
No, Billy.
Oh, okay.
That's what he died from?
They're saying they found toxicology, found cocaine in Billy Mays' system.
Oh, man.
50 years old.
50.
Yeah, but did you see him selling?
I mean,
it's like this.
The guy was energetic.
Michael Jackson also 50 years old.
What?
I'm going to make an observation.
How's the toxicology not back from Michael Jackson yet?
There was so much in there.
It's like, basically every lab in America is backed up 6 weeks.
It's like, slow down. lot to get through.
All right. I just want to make a general observation here to people in their 40s and 50s. Can I get my camera, please? It'd be great if somebody's working the TriCaster for the show. We need an intern? Is that what it is?
No more interns, so I got to do everything.
You have to do everything else?
We have a real intern.
We need an intern. If you want to be an intern here and get yelled at by me, you can send an email to contact@thisweekinstartups.com. You also get some free fruit at 3 o'clock. It's true. It's delicious.
Delicious.
Cut
It's
fruit.
good.
We have
pineapple.
We have cut fruit every day. We have breakfast,
I started doing
lunch, and cut fruit at 3 p.m. brought to your desk every day.
Brought to you. So because of you, we do Whole Foods for lunches for 3-4 days a week.
Yeah.
And we do fresh fruit.
Fresh fruit, very key.
It's awesome.
And we're also doing a contest this month. I just announced it before I came on the program. As part of my stop being an insane, what was the word? Unreasonable, relentless, whatever.
Unreasonable.
It's part of my stop being unreasonable program in 2009, Be a Better Boss program.
I love it.
How to be better. I offered everybody in the company a free iPhone 3GS.
No kidding.
If we break 10 million uniques this month.
And what are you at?
Well, we had 8 million last month, and right now we're
on target.
We're more than on target.
We're
above on target for 10 million uniques in August. So that was my way of putting a carrot out there.
Is it any
Everybody
smartphone? Palm Pre's, iPhone
Ooh,
3GS?
good question.
What are you?
My Touch?
You Mahalo Union over here, representative?
Just saying. What if they don't like?
I want
AT&T.
What if they don't like the? You don't like AT&T.
I have an iPhone.
If you go to Bill Shink, you can find out the best plan.
Okay, now we understand what your position is. You just want every Mahalo employee to go to Bill Shrink and get a better deal.
And find the best plan for their iPhone, My Touch.
All right, well, here's the thing.
I'm just saying.
I have it.
If there was only a website.
I already have an iPhone.
Well, look at this. Woot for Himana says Woot for Peter Pham for remembering her from The Funded, and she likes TWiST, and Preppin gave TWiST an 8 out of 10. That's very good. So here's the thing. I have a specific reason I want everybody to have an iPhone 3GS.
Oh, there you go.
The plot thickens.
Product announcement?
Plot thickens.
We got bought by Apple.
Although I did email Steve Jobs when we were raising money
reply?
Yeah.
Really? Impressive.
I've had 2 replies in my career from Steve Jobs.
That's impressive.
2. And I've had 1 from Bill G. Pretty good for
Pretty good.
pretty good. Bill G was the guy I went to high school with.
Yeah.
No. So here's my thing. We have a new product coming out in August. We have 2 new products coming out in August. One of them I talked about already. Well, no, I didn't. What am I speaking at Wednesday? Is it the Digi ads?
Digi apps.
I'm speaking at Digi Apps next week, which is in New York, and I have 10 free tickets, don't I?
You have 10 free tickets?
I think he gave us 10 free tickets. Yeah, Digi Apps gave us 10 free tickets. So Digi Apps is
now
a
that he
conference.
said it, they have to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So here's what we
now
do.
they're locked in.
No. Digi Apps gave me. I'm giving a talk on next Wednesday on the 10 greatest iPhone applications that haven't been made yet.
Oh, I saw
So this can be a joke, or it could be real.
Right.
So you could do like, one of them I was thinking was like, I haven't you called your mother, and it reminds you like every day with a different thing to call your mom. Right. That's a funny example, but we could use other examples like if the phone had a biometric in it, if it warned you when your heart rate was too high, on a regular basis, or asked you to put your thumb on it to take your heart rate to try to moderate your whatever, all that kind of stuff. Right.
If you want a prank movie.
Something like that. So we're just trying to figure out things like that, and I'm trying to find.
And do you have your list?
I don't. I just started it. So anybody who wants to,
Tyler had a good idea. I won't blow it if you
don't
want
blow.
to
Don't
use
blow.
What
is it? What's the URL for Digi Apps? Does
I
anybody
don't want
know?
to blow it on the air, but you sent out an idea response, and I thought, that's actually because that is something I've heard about.
What was the category?
Of Tyler's idea?
Oh, I know what it was. It was with the police.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay. That's a good.
Oh yeah, I like that one.
It involves if you are arrested.
Because you never know when you.
What is the URL of the Digi Apps conference? I mean.
Typing in Digi Apps conference is not come and go. They need some
in the Google.
SEO.
It's Digi something. It's Digi Trends is the company.
They need some SEO.
Is it Digi Trends?
They need
some.
If I can't Google Digi.
I type Digi Apps.
Yeah.
And it come up.
New York Digi Apps
Internal
conference. New York.
You guys need some referral traffic.
Digi Apps.
New
York.
August.
Exactly. Why can't I find this? I'm trying to give these guys a plug. And did anybody in the Ustream find it?
There you go.
Crute.
Crowdsource.
Crute might know. Somebody has Crute.
Like Crete from Office?
You have it in your email?
It is a little bit like Creed from The Office.
How come I can't find this simple thing? Oh, here it is. Digiapps.com, is that it?
That's probably not it. If that's it should have come up with it.
No, this is booking software. What's the name of the company, Tyler? Oh, no, I'll type Digiapps Calacanis, because
there you go.
That's a unique word. No.
Digi
Day Apps. Digi Day Apps. Overview.
There it is.
Okay. So, DigiDay Apps is next week. People are going to be showing all kinds of good stuff. I am a keynoter.
There you are, Jason McCabe Calican.
Yes, and so it is.
What is the agenda?
No date. Huh?
What is your agenda?
My agenda is I'm the lunch speaker, I think, or something. Where am I? I am.
Lunch
here we
is
go.
always
Lunch and keynote, which is great. And the 10 best app Tyler always negotiates well. August 12th, which is next Wednesday.
Yes.
Next Wednesday, I'll be in New York for this. I'm going to give 2 people a ticket to this right now.
Nice. You have 10 to give away. They confirmed it.
Okay, so I'm going to give 2 to the TWiST audience
they
right
were
now.
watching.
I'm going
I
to give
like
the other 8 to people on Jason's list, my email newsletter, which I'll email this weekend. So if you don't win now, you get a chance to. So 2 people in the New York area who want to come see me give the keynote and go to this DigiApps conference, I'm going to give a free ticket right now. All you have to do is post the DigiApps URL. That's a good idea, right? Because they'll feel good about it.
Totally.
So it's
like
DIGIDAYAPPS. DigiDayApps.com.
DigiDay Apps.
DIGIDAYAPPS.
I think DigiDay is the group. Apps is the conference they're putting on.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay, so the first 2 people to Twitter that URL, DigiDayApps.com, will get the 2 tickets. They also have to put #TWiST at the end because I'm not going to get it if you don't.
And have a profile pic.
Yeah, and have an avatar. Because come on.
No, it's fine.
It's 2009.
All right, here's the first one.
What do you do?
All right. Whoa. Okay, hold on a second. I got to go backwards
What
here.
is the non-avatar avatar thing? What is the explanation for that with the circles?
All right, here we go. The first person to do it was Sam Ben Salim. Sam Ben Salim is the first one from 20 seconds ago. And then Cherman is the second one from 20 seconds ago. And so those are the 2 guys who are going to go. That's the order in which these guys did it.
Wow.
I'm sorry
if
you didn't get in. But those first 2, we have that on the tape. You're going to come. You get to say hello. Make sure you come up at the end.
Were those radio shows
Say
be the
hello?
106th caller? For
Yes.
That's exactly what I'm doing. I'm just, this is
like that. You can do like
classic
either-
Howard Stern. I mean, and this is not. There's no new ideas. So that's next week. Then we are doing the local search summit on Thursday in San Francisco. So I'm flying Wednesday night to SFFO to do that. If anybody wants a ticket to that, let's give 2 tickets away to that, right, Alex?
Yep.
And what's the URL for that? Localsearchsummit.com?
Yep.
So right now, put in I want to go to the localsearchsummit.com, #TWiST, and the first 2 people to do that will get tickets. And we've done now 2 hours and 10 minutes of show.
I'm exhausted.
I am exhausted. It's more than enough show.
You officially run longer than Kevin Pollak now.
No, I can't possibly be longer than Ken Pollak.
Only one guest, so he
okay.
30 in 2 hours now.
Okay, but I mean, he was doing 3-hour shows in the
But
beginning.
time flies when you're having fun.
It does, actually does.
Right,
We should do them, if, you know what, if the Mahalo thing doesn't work out, we should do a morning program, a morning show. We just,
Can I be a guest?
You're not that interested.
Do I
No,
get
of
a
course you can be a guest.
little glass box like Robin?
We'll put you in there like Robin
Yeah.
Quivers. You have to,
Thanks for having me.
it's
This
pretty
is
cool
fun.
having you.
Thank
yeah,
you.
no,
Really
I
appreciate it.
honestly really respect you as an entrepreneur. You're doing great stuff.
Thank you.
Bill Shrink is a great idea. It's not yours, but that's okay. No, it's a great idea. The execution is killer. Everybody has had this idea. Everybody had an idea to build a search engine. Everybody had an idea to put videos on the web. Everybody has an idea, I'm going to lower your bills. You guys are actually executing on it. You're killing it, getting huge partners. And it's a big lesson for everybody. Tyler, partner for growth. Why isn't Tyler partnering for growth?
Insights for Tyler.
How about Tyler? Yeah, this is an insight for specifically Tyler. Can you please, Tyler, can we get a partnership? Can you take some advice? Can we learn something from this program?
Sure.
I want growth from a partner, partnership for growth. What should we do for Mahalo that way? I want an answer next week on the program, what we're going to do. There's your insight for Tyler. All right, and so just remember, Alex, to pick the 2 people for
Local search.
the local search summit. They'll put TWiST on the end. The first 2 people, we have room for 2 people, right?
Yeah.
Local search summit, no problem? Okay, because let's see if anybody wrote it.
Oh, lots of people.
Man. This always makes me feel bad. DigiDay Apps.
Everybody can't win. Gotta be a winner.
Looks like Chad Spacey was the first one 2 minutes ago. Looks like C was the second one.
S-E-Y. Who got that name on Twitter?
No, that's fine. And Connected Geek was the
Just
third.
put S-E-A, like to go to sea.
So if Connected Geek wants to go, we'll do all 3, okay?
It's easy to remember.
We'll do all 3. Should we do 4?
But then who is it?
Do the 3.
Yeah.
Chad Spacey, C, and Connected Geek. There you go. All right, many more opportunities to win free tickets and all that kind of stuff. Thank you, DNA Mail. Thank you, Ustream. Thank you, WebSpy. It's the 3rd time I'm doing thank yous. Thank you, Peter Pham. You did a great job.
Thank you very much.
See you next time. This week in Startups.
News. What else you got here?
11 down.
I think we got through all the news.
Insights from Tyler, 'cause Tyler is smarter than you. When I say you, I really mean me. That's why we need insights from Tyler.
Like we always do at this time, I go for mine, I get to shine. Now throw your hands